Hello, scoundrels, and welcome back to Fire in the Dark. We are here with our lovely cast of rogues, our Murmur Venture project. As you will probably notice, we are down one Mort. John is off. He is busy today. He will be back next time, so do not worry, Mary. But that does not mean that we cannot carry on. And even without a little bit of muscle, our rogues are still effective. I'm sure they're fine in a fight. Right, Tristaro?
You call me as I'm typing in chat, Tristaro is now the muscle. I have 1 point in skirmish. I can take someone probably.
You have 1 point in skirmish because you trained with Mort. That is how you got your point in skirmish.
Yeah. To be fair,
Anyway,
no one better to train with.
I guess. Anyway, when last we had our scoundrels, they were resolved to do something about the Foghound situation. Their Foghounds had been a thorn in the side of the Murmur Venture project, keeping them off their game for a while. And it had gotten to the point that the investors that they had brought to the party last time, while interested in moving forward, were unwilling to do so without that situation being resolved. And so our party, rather than eliminating the Foghounds, decided to make peace. And did so in a most weird and unusual way. Traveling into the Deadlands, finding a forgotten shrine with a brand, and helping save the Foghounds from themselves in the hunt that had been after them. But now, we pick back up and find ourselves once more in the boat on the canal. At this juncture, Archie, as ever, is behind his desk, looking over a rather unique piece of paper. The edges stained black like ink. The note itself had come attached to a box of cookies that no one has had the courage to touch yet. In the rafters, there is Crow, snacking on a lemon bar. For Mort is gone, but in his place, in his usual chair, there is a tray of, again, half-eaten lemon bars with a note. Doing a favor for a friend. See y'all next time. Enjoy the lemon bars. But we find Crow sitting in the rafters directly over Archie, almost pensively eating this lemon bar, looking onto the note that Archie is looking at, recognizing not only the script, but the structure and the staining at the edges, the telltale sign of a note from a particular individual with which they have a history. To the side, snacking on his own lemon bar, and more relaxed than he has been in the past, Tristaro. For once, he managed to not get through a job without having any overwhelming problems or developing any new quirks, and he's taken that time to enjoy that moment to himself. He's been having some late nights planning and getting through his various schemes, but in this moment, it is the ball has been thrown to Archie. And of course, there is, to the side, Asher, our very own Spectre. Now, without the contrast of Mort beside her, looks larger than usual, as Mort tends to dwarf her smaller frame. Not to say she is large, she is still the smallest amongst everyone there, but it does not seem overwhelmingly so. She, on her own part, has made her way through half of that tray of lemon bars entirely on her own, and was in fact the one who delivered them on behalf of Mort, which is why when they got there at good quarter, the tray was already gone. But this is where we find ourselves. And as Archie is kind of like looking over the note, he kind of rolls it back up. He's like, right. Friends. Venturers and rogue. I don't know. I have never figured out a good title for you all. I just know that we're in this together now at this point. We're in it a bit too deep, and people are interested in us, and so there's no backing out now.
I think you can call us friends, Archie. Would you not call us your friends?
Well,
Archie, we're
I didn't
friends
want to
now.
I didn't want to make assumptions.
We are friends.
Okay. Well, we have a job in the form of that actually kind of seems to be up the alley of what we're supposed to be doing for once, and spreading our wares and getting things out there. We have been contacted and contracted by the enigmatic Lord Scurlock. He has requested your presence at a place to which I'm not actually familiar, and he didn't put an address. He kind of opens the letter again, and he kind of don't know if all he says is to come to a place called the Roost.
Ah.
I don't.
It is in 6 towers. I know where it is.
Okay.
That's
I will.
handy.
I will trust you to handle that on your own then, if you know where you're going. But he says he wants to discuss a unique opportunity to your aid for a thing that he wishes to undergo in exchange to him expanding our network to the rather, shall we say, esoteric side of Duskfall. Is the best way to put it. Regardless, he's wanting your attention, and I, for one, am not one to say no to Lord Scurlock. I feel like things would go rather poorly if I did.
Yes.
But you are the experienced ones here, and I am sure that you will be perfectly capable and able to handle any situation that comes up in front of you. To that end, however, I have a lovely little thing for you. We have been doing very well lately. Our pushers have been getting a lot of our product on the streets. Our sales have been ups, and we even have a slight excess of product. And he puts a box on the table and opens it, inside of which are 4 vials of murmur. I figured, given that we know their effects, it wouldn't hurt for you to carry some with you going into the next venture, if you so choose and so please. So, at your leisure, of course. I understand it's not to everyone's taste.
Asher looks down at the vials and then thinks back to the last time we accidentally took, well, didn't accidentally, it was intentionally took it, but still. Hesitates, but still grabs one and pockets it.
Crow will also take one, but they're going to leave it on the table until Archie leaves, because jumping down and then climbing back up is a lot of work.
Tristaro?
Tristaro will take one, look at the last one, and then
There's an
quickly looks
extra
over-
for Mort.
Yep. Quickly looks over to the character sheet and opts to just leave it there.
Okay. So you leave, so 1 vial remains. Technically 2, but Crow will come down and grab the extra here.
Mhm.
Right. So best of luck in your ventures. I, for one, have my own project to undergo, because I have gotten my hands on this. And he pulls out a vial with a liquid blue vial with little streaks of red that seem to move through it like lightning. And you would all recognize this as a vial of pyro.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Archie, darling, care to explain?
Reverse engineering it, right?
Well, that's the thing. You're correct. I'm the original inventor, but now that I've gotten my hands on this, I get to figure out how they've bastardized it, what they've done, how they've changed it, perhaps, to see what it is. So I will be, I get to do some deep analysis, and hopefully have some interesting answers as to what all's going on with it for the next time we meet.
Yeah,
Oh,
be
okay.
be careful with it.
Oh, absolutely. It's a volatile substance. Like, we've seen what it is capable of. This thing is highly explosive and incredibly dangerous. Like, but I work with highly explosive and deadly and dangerous chemicals every day. And he's just like waving this thing around like it's nothing.
Lived
I'm
this
going to
long.
reach over and just grab his hand and be like, not on the boat.
Yeah, not on the boat, but also, how have you lived this long?
He has a TA.
To be
Yeah.
fair, you can also ask that question of me.
I do every day. Just not to your face anymore.
I mean, generally, this is a very exciting endeavor for me. Like,
Yeah.
normally, I got to go to a drug deal. It was, such a time, such an experience, you know.
You went
Oh,
to a
sweetie.
drug deal.
You went yourself, like personally?
I wore like a domino mask across my eyes, and like I had a what's the I had my favorite hat, and he kind of pulls out the hat, and it's the Sherlock Holmes, like the double flap
Like a
style
deerstalker?
deerstalker. Yeah, deerstalker hat. He's like puts that on, and he's like, it was irrecognizable between those two.
And I'm going to walk
Goodness.
over to the porthole and just kind of look out in the streets and look at the other side and see if there's a boat. Because anyone looking at us too long.
No, it's the usual traffic.
Okay.
It seems. So yes, it was all rather exciting, you know. Like I managed to buy this from one of the pyro pushers down in Silkshore. Quite the adventure. And truly, like I didn't stand out. I wore a mask. It's Silkshore. People wear masks all the time when they don't want to get caught going into the whorehouses or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, Archie, thank you for showing a very dangerous chemical on our boat. I'm glad you get to enjoy your scientific endeavors. Thank you for the murmur, and thank you for
Oh yes,
bringing this message
absolutely.
to us.
And he kind of like tucks it into his lapel.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, when you get these letters and messages from people, are they delivering it to your office, to your home?
I have learned my lesson from the interaction with the damned. I have
What?
set up a P.O. box.
Oh, good.
Better.
Yes.
Better.
I have
Is it
set
under
up a
your
P.O. box.
name?
Sorry, what?
Is it
Under your
under
name?
your name?
Yes.
Maybe you should go fix that.
Archie, we have a lot of things to teach you.
Yeah.
You're learning. You're
We should
learning.
have an intro to crime class.
But I
where
made
you-
a P.O. box.
Should.
I made a P.O. box. I didn't have it delivered here or my office.
I know.
We're going to
You're
run you
getting-
through introduction, like Crime 101, and it's going to be, yeah.
It's like it's worth 4 credits on your transcript. Like
You can get another, what do they call them? The post degrees?
Yeah, I don't know, school.
Postdoctorates?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
You want to call it
Yeah.
that?
yeah.
A postdoctorate in crime.
Oh, okay. Actually, I do think that we do teach a course on criminology at the university. I should
That's
probably.
different.
I feel like that's the thing that catches us. We're teaching you how to avoid that.
Yes, but wouldn't the best criminals know how the things for how they're going to get caught?
Well, you kind of learn that what they teach is the old stuff, and no one uses the old ways anymore. Because if they did, they'd be more likely to get caught, and especially here, not a lot of people get caught unless they want to be.
Fair. That's
Yeah.
valid. You know, that does make sense.
There's
Still,
a lot to learn from us. It's okay.
Yeah.
I You know, I feel like this is a mutually beneficial relationship, and like I provide things for you as well outside of just the
You do.
resources.
You
I feel
do.
like, you know, I have some value to contribute here, right?
We're friends.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
You are very valued here,
I'm
Archie.
just
Archie,
No.
I'm just a
Archie?
little.
Archie, look at me. Look at me. This team would be nothing without you here. We would not even know what to do. We'd
Yeah, it's true.
probably have like caught on fire somehow.
That's true.
All
And
of
I
us
am the
would,
one
not just-
manufacturing the murmur that we are selling.
Yeah.
So like,
Mhm.
I have.
You're
Yes.
doing great.
Okay.
We point these things out because we love you and we want to protect you.
Thank
It's
you.
true, actually.
I thank you. I
Mhm.
thank you. Think yes. Maybe I'll leave the analysis for tomorrow. Maybe I'll just go take Anya out for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We go pick her
Yeah.
up some flowers or something along the way or something cute.
Bring me
Sure,
Bring me
sure.
something from the bakery.
Yes, the bakery. She would probably love a nice blueberry scone, I imagine. Maybe I get her some jewelry. Should I buy her jewelry? Spectre, should I have you steal some jewelry? No, wait. Is that going too far? That might be
That's going too far. we have
Really?
to
Because
pawn
I'm
off
pretty
the...
sure, actually, that I might be able to get you something. But anyways.
Yeah, but if you steal from the wrong person, then we get more heat put onto us.
Oh,
Unless-
my
fair.
goodness.
How does
Um,
Anya feel about jewelry from a dead body?
I did
I mean,
find a
I
really pretty
guess-
dagger the other day. So
Yeah.
The theory, I guess the theory is that, like, you know, depending on how old the jewelry is, it was probably on a dead person at some point.
probably.
Who's to say? Anyway, I will leave you to it. Here is he puts the missive from Scurlock down. Enjoy learning what the good Lord needs from you. And I will let you do your thing. And if you need me, you know where to find me. I will, as usual, be in my office, either conducting analysis. Not tonight, though. I am taking Anya out for dinner. And with that, he kind of doffs his deerstalker again and makes his way out for the boat.
Before he steps off the boat, I take the deerstalker off, put it in his pocket, and say, "Wait a few days."
Good call. Yes, absolutely. We don't want to be recognizable. Uh-huh. And he continues and he's like, oh, yes. He pulls out like a different set of glasses that are slightly different. Like these ones have black frames instead of silver, and the lenses are a little rounder instead of like being squared off at the top. Excellent. Irrecognizable. And he continues forward.
Close the door to the boat. I love that man.
But I'm constantly
Yeah.
worried about him.
I am too, but I love that man.
One of these days, he's going to die, and then I will have to teach his class.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, we should really avoid that, shouldn't we?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I also care about him as a person.
I-
Don't get me wrong.
I
I
do too.
figured, but it just makes a lot of extra work for you in the end, doesn't it?
I care about him as a person. I don't want to teach 120 students theoretical and esoteric mathematics.
No, not even a little bit.
Do you think out of the two of them, do you think Anya's the better one in the fight?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
question.
Absolutely.
We should probably talk to her and be like, hey, teach your husband how to fight. Teach your partner how to fight, please.
Please.
They need it.
They need it. Right, Scurlock. Anyhow.
Anyways, yes. I think I just really
Oh,
want to
no.
avoid Archie getting kidnapped at some point. I think that's really what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that.
It's
would happen.
going. It's going to happen. We
I
just have to
know.
be ready for it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, sorry. Problem at hand. Scurlock, correct? Yes?
Mhm.
Scurlock.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead. Before we forget, I'm going to grab the last vial of murmur, and I'm going to open up one of the secret cabinets inside the wall, and I'm just going to put it inside a drawer and close it and say,
Okay.
just in case someone decides to pillage around our boat.
Smart.
Yeah.
All right. So what does Scurlock want from us? And
He's too smart to put it in the letter. He will not tell us until we are there. Crow is going to, like, up in the corners, in the rafters, there's like a little alcove that Crow spends most of their time that they're not like working in. It's where they grade papers and stuff. And he's going to unlock a little box that's about, like, probably about this big, like a suitcase size-ish. And unlock it. It's got an arcane lock, and unlock it. And there are other things in it, but no one can see from this angle. And he's going to take out a little notebook, and then Zeal hop down from the rafters after locking it back up again.
Yes. So they pull out a little notebook from the locked kind of basically foot locker that they have up there, and hop down, grab that vial of murmur and set it aside. And I assume start flipping through to a certain page and opening it up. And pulls out their notes on Scurlock and his associates.
Mm-hmm. So, if we are going to the Roost, feasibly all of them will... If they are not there physically, we can maybe not see them, but they will probably be somewhere. Scurlock may be meeting with us himself for something like this, but he may have Mariana meet with us instead. And Crow makes very affectionate eye contact with Asher and says, Mariana is your type. Please be careful. She is the most dangerous person in that house.
I feel like you shouldn't have told me that.
I wanted to warn you.
I know. I just take warnings as suggestions. That's the problem.
Yeah,
My
I
brain
was
is
gonna
really
say.
not wired properly. But
She's
noted.
She's the kind of person who will kill you slowly and have you thanking her every step of the way.
Yes, no, that unfortunately sounds like a really good night for me. So, Right.
She's very loyal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then, okay. So, no matter what I think, there's not really a chance in hell for me.
I don't know about loyal in that sense. I just meant that she would not betray Scurlock if her life depended on it.
Right.
So, she is not someone that if something goes wrong would ever side against him.
Yes, Scurlock and Mariana are technically married, but they have a cavalcade of lovers that they have had for both of them individually and together on the side.
But outside of Scurlock and Mariana, the other most important people who will be there are the members of the flock. All of Scurlock's underlings have bird names.
Oh. Is that where yours came from?
Yes.
Put it together there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The crow is the Roost's occult whisperer. It is the name given to me when I joined. I am uncertain if they have replaced me since I left. I do not know if they have another crow or if they have gotten a different person. There is the owl, who is a hunter. You don't see them or hear them very often, but they are always watching. There is Jay. He is very friendly, but not necessarily in the way you should trust. But of all of them, he is the most likable, might be the way to put it. He will be probably, if anyone greets us, it will be him. And last but not least, there is the Shrike, and she is ruthless. She is quite happy to be doing the killing that Scurlock needs her to.
Right.
And I do not know which of those will be present at this meeting, but those are the central members. Scurlock has associates that come and go, and objects that come and go outside of that, but those are the most important ones for us to think about.
I'm so sorry to ask this question, but I feel like we might kind of need to. Is there anything we need to know about the, conditions of you leaving, no longer being a part of them that we should maybe be aware of going into it? I don't
Yes,
want
I
to
can
pry, but just,
I can tell you. Scurlock's group was the first group that I fell into when I was turning to this side of town, so to speak. And I fell in with a particularly dangerous crowd. I would say Scurlock's is one of the most dangerous to fall in with. And I was not exactly ready for the scope that was needed of me. I was not in tune with my abilities as well as I could be. And there are a lot of ghosts in that house, for better or worse. I could not hear the words for their voices. It was so loud. And I left because I was not ready or capable of doing what needed to be done.
Right.
Yeah. We should probably keep at least a few Spirit Bane charms. I'm sure Scurlock's home, and Scurlock being Scurlock, the ghost will be on a good behavior, but it never hurts to be safe.
Yeah.
Well, you were not going to Scurlock's house. You were going
No.
to the Roost,
To the
which is
Roost.
technically the headquarters of the Flock, Scurlock's personal fixer gang, as Crow has put it. The Roost is a clock tower in 6 towers that Scurlock owns. Not like anyone knows that he owns it, but he does. It is tastefully decrepit, shall we say. Just enough to keep up the appearances that no one lives in it.
Like a step below pleasantly haunted.
Correct.
That's a callback.
I love pleasantly haunted. It's my favorite descriptor.
Pleasantly haunted and tastefully decrepit.
Different notes on a fine wine.
More like various descriptors of the Dimmer sisters on different days.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Well, should we scout the place out beforehand? Or should we just go ahead, figure out what the job is, and hope for the best?
I mean, I know my ways in and out of the Roost. I spent a lot of time there. But I figure we best know what we're doing before we start spying around for it. If we spend too much time sneaking around the Roost, someone will get suspicious, and I would rather not start our interaction on a worse foot than it already will be.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, there's definitely some things we need to lock up just to be safe. That brand needs to be secured.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this dagger does, but it might also be worthwhile as well.
Probably.
Yeah. Crow, are you able to make like an arcane ward around this to keep it like locked in and undetected?
I can do my best. I can make an arcane lockbox. It's what I use for my own things, but undetectable is a little bit harder. I will have to see what I can do about that.
Okay.
At the very least, I can lock it.
Yeah.
Locked is better than yeah.
Better than just being in the boat.
I'll take them then, and I'll bring them back up to the same lockbox. And while I'm in there, I'm going to grab and put on a black velvet like capelet that's lined with purple silk on the inside.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm gonna lock it back up. I will try and make it undetectable, but I don't know what you'd like me to roll for that.
I'm not gonna say that this is a roll so much as this is a you kind of focus in on it. You're able to lock it up. Making it undetectable, that would be a whole thing you'd almost need to research at this point. That's a whole different ritual that you don't you're kind of like, you probably have a good basis in that area with the locks and everything, but that's something that it's not necessarily that it's out of your scope. It's you just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay. It's arcane locked, so there's that at least.
Yes. Right. So with that locked up, is there any things that you'd like to do before you head over to the Roost? Any individuals you wish to talk to? Any information you wish to gather? Or do you think we have a good handle just on what Crow has provided?
I mean, Asher definitely finishes whatever's left of the lemon bars.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Just if there was any question whatsoever.
Is anyone touching the cookies that Scurlock sent over?
Oh well.
I will
they
watch
are,
Crow.
They
If
are.
I see Crow going for him, I will go for him too.
Oh, I still wait to watch you both eat them first.
They are peanut butter cookies with black frosting. And Crow, you would know inherently as you snack on them that these are Mariana's favorite tea time treat.
Little bit. The Crow has like an almost imperceptible, but you knows them well enough to catch it, like flash of expression across your face, where like he gets like sad for a second and then continues eating the cookie.
They taste okay?
Oh,
Amazing.
yes, they are very good. You know when something is familiar and you haven't had it in a while?
Yeah.
I haven't had these in a while.
Right. And she'll take one and try it and just like nibble at the edges of it.
It is delicious.
All right.
Probably pairs very nicely with a milk tea.
Mm.
Oh shit! I need to pick up goat's milk on the way back. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
Hard to get delivery service when you're on a boat.
Sure.
And with that, you lock up your movable headquarters and make your way over to Six Towers. The journey itself is not hard, to say the least. Duskfall has many roads, many canals, many bridges to walk through. The interesting thing is as you move from Charter Hall into Six Towers is the way the noises change. In a city, there is no true silence. Something is always happening. Someone is always moving. And this is equally true in Duskfall. Six Towers is unique. Because while it is still noisy here, the noise isn't people as much. Sure, there's still the gentle murmur of the occasional group that pass by the streets, but it's more furtive, more controlled. No, the noises that echo here are ancient in a way that sits in your bones. Nostalgic for buildings and times that are past their prime. The creak of wood, the rushing of water, the crack of stone. Wind blowing through ancient trees, and the occasional call of lone birds outside the flock echoes. As you make your way down into Six Towers, you're just in time to hear the dong, dong, dong of a clock tower directly in front of you. A very familiar clock tower for Crow, the sound of which brings back memories of jobs long gone and friends not seen in a good while. This clock tower, as previously described, is tastefully decrepit. It is falling apart a little bit at the edges. The stone is worn. The clock theoretically is on time, but it, based on your pocket watch, Tristaro, is about 3 minutes slow. It is grown with just enough vines to make it look like no one's caring for it, but none of the vines are actually breaking through any of the building. It's not causing any structural integrity problems. It just looks like they are. Stepping inside, you are met with a staircase, and a rather long one. And Crow, you almost sigh. Do you remember that the meeting place that you need to get is at the very top, behind the clock face.
Yeah.
Ascending the tower takes several minutes, but it does mean that you are perfectly on time. 3:15. Tea time. And as you enter the topmost area of the tower, you are greeted with a sight that you have not ever been on the other side of, Crow. In front of you are two figures, standing side by side, waiting patiently. One you have seen before, the domineering figure of Lord Scurlock, a man almost as tall as Mort, dark features, a little bit of sunken eyes, that round fading red, hair black and slicked back, muscular, well-built. He's wearing a mantled fur cloak, which is surprising given that it is early fall at the latest, still theoretically late summer. Yet any heat doesn't seem to bother him. He stands there solemnly, silently, eyes fixed forward on Crow. Truthfully, mostly on Crow, though it's well apparent he takes in a lot of you. Beside him is an incredibly elegant woman, but in the same way that a jeweled viper has elegance. Her features are sharp. Her skin tends a little towards darker, and her eyes are a very bright green. Her hair is incredibly curly and is cut in a full undercut, and then is just a little bit that curls off and lays just to the side. And she's wearing, almost in contrast to Scurlock, a very little fabric dress. It is well cut to the cleavage, has no sleeves. You can already tell that it is a full open back and only comes down to just below her knees, while wearing stilettos about that tall. The dress itself is ink black with red along the edges, like blood. Her eyes flick between all of you, one at a time, resting on Crow the longest, but then sizing all of you up, making assumptions, and then just the smallest smile. No teeth, and it does not reach her eyes. In the rafters above them, there are three figures. Sitting on the rafters to the left of where you came in is a figure masked, an owl mask over their face, standing, not sitting, watching. Every step you take, every move you make, they will be watching you. And as much as I joke, you can feel their eyes, Orin, assessing you at all times, searching for weakness and strength. And you know, you can inherently feel that the only reason you can feel their eyes is because they want you to. To the right is a figure sitting there very amicably, one leg up, an apple in his hand. He's got a mask with the face of a blue jay, bright jeweled blue feathers and a slight yellow beak, but it is over to like the side of his face, and he's got this shock of red hair that's up, and he's got a big smile with dimples as you walk in, a little bit of freckles and just the brightest blue eyes with just that little hint of green fog that kind of whispers through them. He just kind of bites on the apple, watches you. His eyes dance over Crow for a second. His smile gets a little bigger, moves over to Asher, and kind of a little bit of an eyebrow goes up. And then his eyes move over and looks at you, Tristaro. And he looks you dead in the eyes, Tristaro. And when he does, his grin turns almost into like a half smirk, gives you a little wink and bites the apple again. In the rafters, directly above Mariana, there is another figure. Her mask is sitting in her lap. She does not have it anywhere in her face, but she has a mask with a single sharp beak that comes down into a straight point with black feathers that end in red tips, similar to Mariana's dress. And she's looking at you with also an equally large smile that does reach her eyes, and yet the more you look at it, the more unsettled it makes you feel. And as she does, you can see her eyes dance with fire and mischief in a way that the Spectre, you can almost relate to in a way. It's that same feeling of when you're at the table, when you're moving your way through some noble woman's bed, when you're walking away with a jewel in your hand. It's got that same delight. And it would be wonderful if it wasn't for that slight scent of blood in the air. And then lastly, directly over Scurlock, there is an empty roost. A blank spot with no one in it. There is a position there. That much is obvious. You can in fact even make out where someone has crafted out a seat at some point, laid out a blanket to make it easier to sit in similar fashion to the rest, and that there is still a knife kind of just buried in the wood up there like it was never removed after being placed there. Someone, at some point, used to be there and is no longer. And this is the scene that stands before you as you walk in. As you do, Mariana's hands fold in front of her. Welcome. A pleasure to have you all join us here today. Welcome to the Roost. And welcome back, Silas.
Silas is going to drop into a bow and flip their cape back a little bit and rise. It is an honor to be welcome back, lady. You look very well.
Thank you. As do you. You look quite vigorous, shall I say, full of life, or at least purpose. And your friends. The crow returns to the roost, bringing little jewels to the nest.
It's a pleasure to meet you all.
It's wonderful to meet you, especially in a less heated environment than last time. I'm going to kind of also wander my eye over everyone. Quick question. We have the new the good stuff ability.
You do.
Hey, which one of these guys is hooked on murmur?
You do have the good stuff. Allow me to double check the good stuff. Merchant product quality is equal. When you deal with crew faction, GM will tell you who among them is hooked on your product. One, a few, many, or all. So, you look over the various individuals here, kind of like looking for basically the telltale marks of a person who is hooked on murmur. At this point, it's become very obvious to you, the signs. There's a certain glassiness to the eyes, not in the terms of out of focus, but more like it almost has like an anime shine to them, I would say.
Steven Universe star speckles.
And a little bit of, if they're not particularly careful about it, you might be able to see a little bit of powder around the nose. But as you look over them, there is, in fact, one individual here who is hooked on murmur. And it is the Shrike.
Okay. Good to know. All right.
Thank you for accepting our invitation for tea. We do so enjoy having company, don't we, darling? Yes. Please. He makes a gesture where there is a table in front of you, where there has been set a teapot, and cups and enough chairs only for you.
Do we look over to the side and see like a children's table for me and Asher?
Oh, no. Only for you three is what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Jesus!
I am so sorry. I
Okay, but I now love
misdescribed.
the
Yes, it
idea.
is only for Crow. No, it's only for you three is what I mean. There are no seats
Okay.
for your hosts. That's
So
what I'm
we're all
saying.
at the children's table.
What a
Got it.
Yeah,
What a power move that would have been.
we're all at the baby table.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think Tristaro starts walking forward and offers a seat to the other two as well. Just like pulls them out and then sits down as well.
I think.
Or actually, no, wait. I wait till Scurlock sits down. Hold on.
There's no seat
He's
for
not going to.
There's not.
There's only seats for you three.
Shit.
Asher goes and confidently sits down without any issue.
I think Crow usually sits like on a side, and very purposefully takes the middle of these three seats this time.
Yeah, also on the empty side after pulling out the other two chairs and
Thank you.
look back up at the J and just kind of give like a smirk and a nod. And then look at the Shrike and drop a wink.
Well, Asher's just straight up smiling at everybody, just like, this is gonna be fun.
Crow
as
keeps
you-
looking at the empty space.
Yes. As you sit down, Asher, in a move that's very familiar to you, the owl disappears. And then reappears in front of you, holding a teapot, and begins pouring tea for each of you.
You know, I like that trick. I use it a fair bit myself.
The owl's face turns to look at you and then hawks just a little bit, almost like a real owl. Noted. And then disappears again. So, I'm sure you're all wondering why we've gathered you here today. We do ever so love your presence, of course, Silas, but we are ones to talk business, of course. We enjoy the effects that your product can have. Some of us enjoy it quite a lot, actually. And she pulls out a a vial of murmur from seemingly nowhere and kind of dances it between her fingers. A clever little thing. Very good for what it does. But it can have some unexpected consequences, can't it?
The unexpected consequences are nothing we didn't tell you. It lets you live back a moment.
Yes, indeed.
If you have a moment that you regret, that could come back.
And for the most part, though, the moments it pulls back are very pleasant indeed. It's that off chance, isn't there? That little bit of problem where you get caught in a reverie of something that haunts you.
Part of the risk. It's part of the fun sometimes, depending on if you're into that.
It has delicious potential. She kind of sets the vial down and then goes to kind of just like a cupboard on the side, opens it and pulls out basically like a chemistry rack filled with vials, and comes and sets it down in front of you on the tea table. In front of you are 8 vials of murmur, but they don't exactly look like they're supposed to. As you look at them, murmur, as you're used to it, it's usually in liquid form until you pop the cork, and then it kind of becomes a powder that is you snort. In this case, it's still in liquid form, and it's usually like this very silvery through line of liquid. This one has a tendril of darkness that wraps and coils through it like a snake, slowly moving. I'd say it's akin to like watching like RNA, how we picture DNA and stuff suspended in liquid, or like a parasite.
Want to trigger that bad memory more often than not.
Well,
Not for yourself, obviously.
no. We saw the potential in what you've made. And yes, it has very good potential as a street product, of course, for what it does. Beautiful, wonderful. I can see why it's become as popular as it has as quickly as it is. Your little group, your little venture has been quite successful quite rapidly, has it not? Not to say that it hasn't been, of course, with some serious risks taken on your part, but they've paid off.
Mm-hmm. I would agree so.
Yes. And you mentioned, of course, the little bit of the fiery party you put on, but none the worse for wear. And you had a lovely time, didn't you, darling? Wonderful. Yes, absolutely. So, I'm so sorry I couldn't attend myself, of course, but, you know, duty calls and all that, and, well, I'm perfectly capable of handling myself at social affairs.
You made your presence quite known, and you were quite a presence to enjoy. What was the word I heard? Like a storm wandering in.
He almost smiles. Almost.
It was quite the thrill.
We will have to make sure the lady's able to make it the next time we hold such an occasion.
Ah, yes, well, while I do delight in parties, I prefer more private endeavors, small groups and the like, things that allow me to get to know a person one-on-one.
Noted.
Learn their secrets, suss out their strengths.
Some more intimate gatherings for you, then. I'll keep that in
Yes.
mind.
Indeed. Regardless, anyway. But as you clearly pointed out, yes, we have altered your product a little bit and acquired a rather decent amount of it, I would say, here.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I was gonna say, it's nice to see someone enjoying our product and enjoying their own experiments with it.
oh, yes, absolutely. Dear Shrike does love her experiments. She looks back to the rafters where Shrike has kind of just started humming to herself as she kind of plays with the mask in her hands. And as you look, it's like you can hear she's humming.
Mm.
She's quite clever. Anyway. But I would expect nothing less, of course. Anyone who finds themselves in our consort is a capable individual. Regardless, these have been altered. And in that vein, we have a request for you. We are, well, not to put it too mildly, an excellent pipeline for you to the realm of the forgotten gods and those who worship them. Quite a number of which who rather enjoy having revelries in honor of their worship, places where your product could do quite well. But these are not the kind of people who would buy from a pusher off the street. No. They go through known sources. Not just known sources who are in their circle. People like us, who strive to walk both lines, the public and the private, the occult and the mundane.
Mm-hmm. So we've heard, so we've wandered into sometimes.
We can be your pipeline there. We can help you establish the necessary connections you need to get your product to as many people, not just in Six Towers, but even to some of the rather secret societies of Charter Hall, even Brightstone.
I'm sure there are a great deal of people that would enjoy that. I'm guessing the cost is you want to be able to get more product in your associate Shrike's hands to experiment with.
We would delight in getting more product for ourselves, of course, and of course we can negotiate deals on a potential discount based, especially in the wake of likely bulk orders we would be making anyway. So we can discuss that, of course. However, no, the thing we need to discuss here is let's call it an upfront cost, a thing that we are asking for you to do on behalf of us to get your foot in the door, to show that you know how to deal in this world.
What would the cost be that you, in order to showcase ourselves? I feel we do have quite the resume with our dealings with the firebugs and.
She is worried about me.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. What would the deal entail?
It's quite simple. As you can see here, there are 8 vials of our tainted reverie, as we're calling it. We need you to deliver them in secret, in a way. There is a group, a set of worshippers who worship a particular entity that we know as Satara. Satara is a demon through and through. Rather powerful one, all things considered. And something of a thorn in our side, as are her worshippers, to say the least. In their worshipping, they have a chalice that they all drink from collectively. We need you to taint the chalice with these, without them ever being the wiser. They cannot know you were there. They cannot have any suspicions. There cannot be any sign of outside interference.
Okay.
How you choose to go about that is up to you, but you cannot be seen, or at least cannot be tracked. At least not until the job is done and they've drunk deeply of the chalice. At that point, I care very little if they know who interfered with it. It's the getting there in the first place so that they are none suspect when it comes time for them to drink in their next unholy reverie.
What do they
Any
drink?
questions?
What is it they drink? Do they drink wine? Do they drink blood?
From what we understand, they drink some heady concoction of mead mixed with wolfsbane, something that is ever so slightly venomous to them, but not enough to kill them. And in so doing, they take in a little bit more toxin and become a little bit closer to the demon of toxin, that Satara is.
Okay.
Do you know
could-
when their next revelry is?
I think they hold them fairly regularly, so it's probably information you can divulge on yourself, but they are a religious organization. I imagine they have their own kind of rituals and days on which they regularly do things.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that because you know of Satara and you know that rituals take place, you know some of the associates and who they work under, where they can be found.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Right here in Six Towers, on the north side, they have an under-chapel. Not to call it a chapel is probably to do it injustice. It's a network, almost, a massive underground complex where their little cult resides.
Right.
Okay.
So get in, use this, make them drink it, and then get out.
You don't even necessarily have to make them drink it. You just have to make sure that they don't see you taint it for the next time they go to drink it.
Mhm.
Makes
I think
sense?
that's doable. Yeah, I think that's doable.
Straightforward.
I do believe, though, that, my good lord, you did have, if this doesn't sound in your wheelhouse, you did have an alternative, didn't you, my lord? Lord Scurlock. Yes.
Yeah. What would the alternative be?
Just out of curiosity.
Just because it's going to be a burning question in the back of my mind the entire job. And
It's true.
Give us Crow. We'll call it Square.
I think Tristaro just mumbles under his breath and says, "Unsurprising. I think I'd be happier with the former offer."
Yes, same.
Crow, would you be happier with the former offer than the latter? Don't want to speak out for you in this scenario.
Thank you for not speaking for me. I think we can do what you ask us to. Very purposefully does not actually answer your question.
Mariana kind of was like, excellent. And should it turn out that you prove incapable of the former, I'm sure the latter will do. Regardless, any other questions for me?
What's this tea? It's just delightful.
Oh, the
That's not
tea?
bergamot.
Yes, it is a personal milk cinnamon tea from my collection. A favorite, one that you are intimately familiar with, Crow. It is not an inexpensive tea at all. It is a rather heavily priced imported tea. And Mariana is keen to allow herself 1 cup of it every day at tea time.
Honestly, with the performance, the tea selection you've offered us and the performance from, I believe, Al is your associate's name, you could open a really, really wonderful tea shop.
Really could. Oh, and those cookies that were delivered with the note too would pair perfectly. Just delightful.
Oh, did you like those? Thank you. I baked them myself.
As good as ever.
Very nice. Very well done.
Regardless, if there's nothing else, Jay, she kind of puts a gesture up, and the bright redhead with the now finished, just an apple core, kind of looks down. Yeah, show our guests out, if you would be so kind. Absolutely, ma'am. And he takes the apple core, eats the whole thing, throws the stem aside, and drops down from the rafters. If you lovely guys, gals, and non-binary pals would follow me right over here, and he takes you over to the back of the clock tower. He kind of gets you. All right. He puts you on a specific platform. All right. Please keep all hands and legs together inside the contraption at all times. Do not hold your breath. Do not try to move. And above all, do not look down. We ready?
Yeah.
As ready as we can be.
Click, and he whacks a lever, and just the floor seems to just suddenly drop, and you are on an elevator going boom straight down. And all of you, it is just short of lifting you off the floor of the elevator in terms of speed. Like,
Hog lever.
That's the right one! Boom! And it comes to a very sudden jolt, and you all go poof! As actually, Jay and Crow are like, they don't move. They
No.
absolutely, that does not need. Asher, you and Tristaro like barely keep your feet as you hit the ground, and you are all the way back down at the bottom of the clock tower in about a second flat. A climb that took you almost 15 minutes by stairs to get to the top.
Amazing.
It's been a while.
We need more of those. That was
That
fun.
was something. Let's get walking. I need air or something at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you for visiting the Roost. And if you ever need anything, Crow, you know where to find me.
Crow will put their hand out for a shake.
Jay will take the hand, he'll take it and then he'll clasp it, and he'll pull you in for just a brief kind of hug kind of a thing.
Crow will return that.
Yeah, but I'm very good at acquisitions. So if you need me to get anything for you, it's my job.
Thank you.
And you will be sent on your way. The Roost left behind.
Okay.
Right. So this is
We have all 8 vials with us too, by the way, right?
You do.
Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. I'm glad I didn't shake their hand because I would have had to say all 8 vials. I'm gonna look at one of them and say, we should probably take one of these to Archie.
Agreed.
Yes. I thought you were going to suggest that you take it. I was about to stop you.
Let
would
him
never
see what
do
they've
that.
done to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be so mad someone is corrupting another one of his creations.
I know.
Yeah. Was Shrike always someone who tampered with chemistry in that way?
Shrike enjoys unusual pastimes. So yes?
Yeah.
Got it.
They seem to be stuck in the past, if you know what I mean.
Shrike, you remember her, is Mariana's personal protege, much in the same way that you were Scurlock's for a while. She is Mariana's student, and as such is a heady student of poison and creation and chemistry because of it, and has a habit of coating her daggers in the poison because, well, she rarely misses. But in the rare case that she does, you won't get away for long. She's a particular fan of paralytics because she does still like to do the job herself.
I will share that information.
Crow, I am so glad you work for us and with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking of going back when that second offer was on the table, were you? Just...
It is something I want to leave on the table in case we fail.
Ah,
If we fail, I would rather be traded for this to continue to succeed for you than have a negative association again.
but you don't want to go back, do you?
Yeah, what is it that you want?
Truthfully, I don't know. I am a different person than I was when I was working there. So I don't know what it would be like to be working there again.
Fair answer.
All right.
Right.
Well,
But I don't want to turn on any of you if that is what you are worried
Oh, no,
unless-
actually, not at all. I was mostly like, what do you want? Do you want to be back with...
it was more I hated their
Yeah.
vibe.
about. Oh, they are. A lot is happening all the time.
Probably no time to enjoy lemon bars then, so better you're with us.
Indeed. I've traded peanut butter cookies for lemon bars.
Right. Let's, information, right?
Yes, let's see what we can find out about this cult of Satana. Jaimie, remind me, because my memory is a goldfish. Is Satana the same entity that I was talking about with the Dimmer sisters when...
No.
Okay,
No. No, Satara is an entirely different
okay.
demon. One that you do have some associations with, you know, basically in the background. You know that there's some kind of antagonistic relationship between Satara and Scurlock.
Okay.
Is the thing. You're not quite sure what it is. It never really got
Came
to the
up.
point that you knew what it was, but they don't like each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
So no. The one that you're currently associating with is completely different.
Okay, cool. Thank you. My brain is a sieve, so I wanted to make sure.
We do have
No, the
people who
entity
are,
of
I was going to say, we do. Crow does know people who are specifically trying to get rid of demons.
is very true.
Mhm.
Yeah, the entity you interacted with, the demon of ash and flame, never actually gave its name.
Perfect.
So, we are gathering information. Let's start with, prior to what anyone else is doing to gather information, someone said they wanted to take the vial of tainted elixir to Archie. Why don't we start with that, if that is what you are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go the next day because he's on a very important date with Anya tonight.
Yeah,
We're not interrupting that.
Very
taking
good.
his wife to dinner.
He is taking his wife to dinner.
We are not showing up at the restaurant. We're not going to do that.
Yes, he's taking his wife to dinner, possibly to a portrait gallery after. They're getting. He got her flowers. He got her specifically some lovely white roses with a single pink rose. He made sure to have her favorite red wine at home.
I'm so
Archie
proud
is a
of him.
nervous man, but he's a
He's a-
well-meaning nervous man.
A romantic.
Oh.
He is a romantic through and through.
Oh, we can't let anything bad happen to him.
No.
Which means something bad is definitely going to happen to him in like 3 or 4 more
I
sessions.
know.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for the kidnap Archie session.
We're protective.
You come to the boat one day, there's just a ransom note for Archie where he usually is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting.
I was going worse. I was like, Anya shows up at the boat saying Archie hasn't been around for like the past week.
No one's been inputting the grades that Silas has been doing.
Yeah, well, that causes a different meltdown for Silas altogether.
None of the students are ever worried because they never go to office hours, ever.
Yeah, it's not until the next class date when he doesn't show up that they're concerned.
Oh, I don't even know if they're concerned. They're just excited for a free period.
There's the next class day, he doesn't show up, and Silas is there like, what the fuck? Fine, I guess I gotta teach today.
All right.
Ugh.
What's the lesson plan?
This happens sometimes. He gets too caught up in his experiments. Kind of a thing. No. Anyway, so
Sorry.
the next day, you go to Archie's office. Are you all going? Are one of you going? Silas is not going. Curly's not going. 100% no.
Asher would probably
went-
go because, like, I've been there before. So.
Yeah.
If it doesn't count as one of my like gathering information jobs, I'd probably go too.
Okay. Sure.
Because
it's not going to count for gathering information. This is just going to be y'all going to see Archie and being like, hey, what the fuck is this? Archie is a resource for you. He's your patron, so like this is kind of part of it. It doesn't cost you anything to have him. It's just the fact that he's the one giving you jobs, so you kind of have to do what he says.
Yeah.
So you go to see Archie. Getting through the university it's a walk in the park at this point for you, Asher. You've been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
You get up to Archie's, once again, as I've described it, simultaneously incredibly messy and incredibly clean office. And he kind of looks up and you see Archie is in the messy part of his office where there's just like vials of things that are moving and there's fucking bubbling and he's like holding a vial of pyro. It's like half spent into like an Erlenmeyer flask that he's like swirling around and is like poured something else into and is like pulling it into one of those, I don't remember what they're called, but like an orb, and then they have a long spout that goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're called either, but
I
yeah.
forget science.
The fancy
Kinda
coffee maker I look at from time to time.
Yeah, a percolator kind of
Yeah.
thing. So he puts the cork in that as you come in. My friends, right, friends. Yes,
There
my
you
friends.
go.
Welcome. I didn't expect to see you again so soon.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
It's called a distillation apparatus.
There we go.
That's it.
There we go.
Thank you.
No fun words.
Thank you, Rue.
No worries. I was like, maybe it'll have a fun name. No.
No, never does.
Yes.
Audrey, how was your date last night?
Oh, it was lovely. I took Anya out for dinner. We had some wine. We took a
Good.
walk by the river, by the North Hook Channel.
Oh, that's a nice spot.
Oh,
We,
wonderful.
And I surprised her with tickets for the opera next week. It's
Oh. Very
um,
cute. Very sweet.
yes. I was very. It was truly a wonderful time.
Good.
Yes. Anyway, but that's we're not here to discuss my love life. We have a job to do, of course.
I'm
as
always
you
here
can
to
see,
discuss love lives, but yes, okay. Continue.
as you can see, I am undergoing my experiments, and he kind of like does this with his hands, gesturing at all the chemistry apparatus, figuring out what they've done. The one thing that I can tell you for sure right now, it is whatever they've done to it is absolutely slightly more volatile than it was before when I made it, when I designed it anyway. It is definitely got similarities to nitroglycerin in that way. Anyway, as you were saying.
Hate to think that everyone's ingesting nitroglycerin.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not in that. In terms of the
No.
like if you apply force to it, it explodes kind of situation. I took a drop of it and I whacked it with a hammer. And it caused a minor, and he kind of points to where there's like an iron plate about this big on the side, and you can see there's a little like a little explosive char mark that's in a perfect circle that kind of goes out from there.
Yep. Well, speaking of volatile and people messing with your stuff, our meeting led to us finding out that someone else has messed with our current product.
Yeah.
Again?
Does this look wrong to you?
He kind of looks at the vial of murmur. Oh, what have they done to it? Kind of spins it around in his hands.
You know how we talked about one of the possible negative side effects being sometimes that memory isn't as good as you remember it being?
Yes, we it's part of the risk. It's nothing.
But if you could just make sure that's permanent.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we witnessed someone enduring those side effects during our meeting yesterday.
So we kind of want you to take a look at it and see if you can figure out exactly what they did to it. So I don't know.
We might
Information is
need
power.
a counter agent in case
Yeah.
we wander to someone who has that happen to them.
kind of flips the vial in his hand a little bit and shakes it. I see. I will certainly I'll put this next on the block after I finish with what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I wonder what they've done to it. He stares at the vial for a moment. He looks entranced, like absolutely engrossed. Like when he had the pyro, he was like a giddy kid. This is Archie looking at this. He's looking at this with not reverie, not like it's not like he's looking at this in a way that he's like holding up and butting it. No, the look in his eyes is one of deep-seated curiosity. And in that moment, you can see just a little bit of like the Archie that isn't the nervous man, that Archie that's so passionate about the things that he's invested in. And when that spark of curiosity hits him, how much it can take him.
I'm wondering, this could be part of the ghost field itself they tampered with, or maybe they have contacts in another city that has something venomous of some kind.
Yeah.
Or some kind of occult object.
This is Scurlock's doing?
Yeah, you...
Yeah.
I see. It's quite possible something arcane, esoteric has been done to it. Did our crow have any insights on the matter, perhaps?
Flashback. Hey, Crow, do you have any insights on this?
I would have to examine it. Can I try?
Go ahead and give me an attune roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
It's just risky standard. There's nothing off here. There's no real major risk. It's just you kind of analyzing this. Okay, that's a 6. So you kind of attuning to it, trying to figure out. There is something they've done to it, and it definitely feels like a part of the ghost field in the same way that entities feel like a part of the ghost field. It's not a natural substance, whatever they've put into this thing. It is supernatural in some way. Almost like it's like a vector for a drug. The same way that when someone gets infected with an RNA virus, there is a thing in here that is the vector to ensure something happens, to ensure that this goes to a specific part of the brain, kind of a thing. What that is, it's hard to tell, but basically what you're getting is they've put like a sliver of a mini ghost in this thing that acts like a pilot almost.
I would have explained that in as simple words as I could have.
Tristaro explains it in that way, but messes up a few of the words.
My telephone.
I don't know how that's possible, but I am excited to find out.
There's a ghost in there. It's fine.
Well, here's the thing. If they're able to figure out how to do that, perhaps it will allow me to figure out a way to refine it to the point that it specifically targets a place that is not that area, and we can start to mitigate some of the side effects, make it much less likely in the future.
Yeah. So this
Kind of
could
a
be
thing.
better. This could work out right. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you, Archie.
Yes. So I will look into this. Thank you. Regardless, is this it? Was there anything else you needed from me?
Asher, do you have anything for Archie? This
Don't
kind of
die.
covered it. Yeah, don't die.
I'm not going to die.
You're playing with Pyro.
I'm playing with Pylo in a controlled lab session with proper PPE and all of the necessary gear in order to do so. Plus,
Okay.
I have an intimate working knowledge of the base formula as I did create it. So I am simply looking for abnormalities. So you do not need to worry about me.
That's fair, but also, do you have a TA who you know needs the extra credit, but also I might
Uh,
reach out to some people if you're open to the idea, just to help accelerate the process, and they'll be kind of discreet with it. If you're comfortable with that.
with the pyro? Oh,
With whatever you need help in the alchemical side.
I mean,
If you think
I'd
that would
prefer-
accelerate it.
I mean, probably, but I would prefer to keep things largely internal. This is a delicate process. Plus, I put enough work on my TA as it is. They do like almost all of my grading at this point, since I've been devoting so much of my time to this venture.
Maybe you need to hire a second TA, like give them a break or something.
I will be hiring a second TA. I will say, I will be hiring a second TA.
Good.
Not for grading, however, it's to cover my classes. Like, my current TA is largely going to be relegated to just the grading side of things, luckily, and helping. And then I'll be having another TA who will cover my classes when I'm unable to work because of this or for whatever other reasons. And then beyond that, I will handle administrative things and regular teaching hours. And of course, I have my office hours, whenever it comes to. So,
I come to your office hours.
I come to your office.
You're not out of my students.
We can fix that.
I could be. I could learn things.
Were you planning on enrolling in the Charter Hall University?
Nope.
No.
Were you planning on paying the tuition?
Archie, I thought we knew each other by this point.
That's why I'm asking in this tone. Asher, I'm quite aware that any tuition money you might spend is more likely to end up on a roulette table somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. Although, maybe one day I'll win big and I'll come spend it at your cute little school here.
No, you won't. You'll put more of it on the table.
That's true, you know me.
Or you're going to go spend it on women in Silkshore.
Also accurate, so you're not wrong.
Well, speaking of spending money places, you should probably treat your TAs to something just because.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Actually, I mean, in terms of treating my TAs, I've anyone who's TAs for me, because of the sheer level of work that I give them, I do actually cover their tuition for that semester. So like the whole tuition. So that, and I send them pastries some days. If they get to the end of the semester and they haven't quit on me, I usually give them a nice bottle of wine.
Good to hear.
But
really
honestly,
take them out for dinner sometime.
We have a professional relationship where we kind of keep this nice distance where I don't have to interact with them, and they get paid by me. Paid by me. I'm not paying for them, but I pay all of their tuition fees and all of their books and stuff. So they're basically going to school here for free. I obviously don't pay their housing costs. I've not made them money.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, just trying to make you seem like a better employer, especially if you're going to be hiring sometime soon. That's all. Just keeping that in mind.
I think the best employer is one who gives you everything you want and need to do your job and keeps a safe distance to allow you to do it. Kind of like how I operate with y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, most of that distance is really for your safety.
Yeah.
I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I even went to a drug deal, remember? And I was fine.
Yep, and I'm so proud of you, Archie. I really am. You keep doing your thing here with the chemicals and the science and the esoteric whatnot, and let us know the results.
You might make a criminal out of me yet. Who knows? Next I might shoplift something.
We'll get you there. We'll get baby steps. Sorry. Anyways, okay. Sure, I think that's it. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Hey, Archie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Absolutely. And like I said, I should have some interesting results for you in terms of analyzing the pyro and this tainted murmur you've given me the next time we hopefully meet. In the meantime, good luck with whatever it is Scurlock and his associates want from you.
You probably
I
don't want to know. It's another one of
don't.
those.
Yeah.
In terms of, I rarely want to know what you're doing, and for the first time, I really don't want to know what you're doing.
That's for the best.
Yeah.
Right, especially since you gave me this. I really don't want to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone know where you got that from, and
Yeah,
just say
no.
you botched a creation of murmur.
Oh,
at
it's
one
going
point.
to all be consumed in the experiment. No one's ever
Right.
going to know I had it in the first place or it existed.
Okay,
Perfect.
good. All right, we
Lovely.
got a few other things I need to go take care of.
Great. Have fun.
Bye.
That's all. If you need me, you know where to find me. Good luck. Don't die. If you do die, we'll remember you.
It's not very reassuring.
Yeah. Have a good day. I really want to imagine, like, as we leave the office, there's actually like one little mousy student just like waiting outside, waiting for us to be done. So
There is. There is one student waiting for office hours. Is one small boy. He's like he is probably around 19. He does not look older than 16 though in the thing. It doesn't help that his glasses are about this large and this thick, kind of a thing.
Oh.
And the haircut that he's given, he looks like he like tried to do a semi-stylish haircut, but he might have done it himself, and he doesn't really have the experience to do that. So like, didn't quite work out in the thing. So the like undercut he gave him on the side doesn't go quite far enough back, like the side shave, just a little too short, kind of a thing. But like, and he kind of like seems to have tried to fix that a little bit with like like gel, kind of like pushing it to the side, because he can't see that far back of his head to shave there anyway. So he's gotten anyone to help him. He's wearing like a bow tie, is slightly too loose, and a vest and a nice little plaid shirt underneath the vest, and kind of and tweed trousers, and he's holding a book that is thicker than his head, waiting.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to immediately turn around and just say, Professor, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I think you have another student coming in just a second.
Oh, do I? Kind of the young man like sticks his head around. Kieran, my boy, come in. How are we doing? Yes, I noticed that your grades have significantly improved with recently. Come in. Let's talk. Let's see what issues might be having.
Close the door and walk away, and look at Asher and say, I hate to do this, but I really think we need to hire someone to just like guard him and watch him.
I do too. Oh goodness.
Just every interaction I have with him just makes me more and more nervous something's going to happen.
I know. He's going to trust somebody and they're going to go and kidnap him or do something bad to him.
Yeah.
We need to find somebody.
Also, I really do not get the style of university students these days.
Me neither. What's going on with that? I am very confused. Damn these
It's
kids.
really funny of this mousy boy walking out as two people who dressed like criminals. Like they have the fashion sense of the streets. So in that kind of like roguish way of like attractive, but like in a way that is kind of like dangerous. Maybe don't talk to them, kind of like, but you kind of want to in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but let's gather some information, shall we? And let's start with the person who's kind of had the hardest time of it with Scurlock and his gang. And speaking of murmur and memories, Crow, what would you like to do?
I would like to. We leveled up. I took a cultist.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
would like to see if I can make some form of contact with Satara. Because if I do so, then when we are working later, I will get bonus dice to
Okay.
interacting with her cultists. So.
Okay, so you're going to try to contact Satara. Very good. Go ahead and make me an attune roll for the gathering of information. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, make me an attune roll. You have 3 dice in attune, and I don't know if you want to push. It's just going to be a risky standard because this is just gathering information. I do have a devil's bargain if you want a 4th dice, though I'm not sure that's the kind of thing you want to waste a devil's bargain on in terms of, since there's no real risk in gathering information. But
I do want to know what it is. I might not take it, but I do want to know what it is.
The devil's bargain is you get the bonus dice, but Satara takes a certain interest in you.
How many demons will I have following me around? I think I'm going to not take it for this because it's a gathering information roll, and if I fuck up on that, it'll be a problem later. So just the 3 and then risky standard, yeah?
Yep, just the 3 risky standard.
The same thing I got last time.
It is the exact same thing in a different order. That is a 6. All right. So you go to make contact with the demon of Satara. For this ritual, you kind of take a moment. You remember your conversation with the demon of Ash and Flame. You pull the mirror out of your abode and take it with you to a very quiet area in a graveyard in 6 towers that you know grows with Wolfbane. And using the mirror as a channel, begin trying to summon the powers. There's this brief feeling of the ghost field almost gathering around you like needles trying to get underneath your skin. And it fades. And for a brief moment, you swear you hear the of Rick, but then it's gone. Then it's gone. And a different figure emerges in the face of the mirror. This is a demon in almost the traditional sense of what we would call it. Face almost goat-like with horns that curve back and over. You can only see above the collarbone, but at the collarbone, there is a amalgamation of different berries and flowers growing almost out of the skin. This is unusual, to say the least.
I have
Rare.
been told that I am unusual.
So often, I do not have individuals reach out to me so much. More that they consort near my realm and end up taking in my toxins enough that I find my way in their minds regardless. But you are surprisingly clean. So, what ends does a mortal, even a powerful one, deign to contact one such as myself?
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, my lady. I am very curious about your worship in this city and how to court their favor.
My worshippers in the city, they are numerous and varied and take so many forms and the like. Many worship me without even knowing they do. Those who delight in the use of poison against their enemies, the midwife who administers analgesics to ease birth, as well as the snake politician who offs his competition. Each is a poison in its own way. The difference between poison and medicine is the administration. But if you mean those who worship me specifically, they are unique. Those who have found my realm, my growths, and have put them to their own ends. They are the plague and the cure. But why would you need to know?
I think it is a good idea to know as much as I can about anything, truly, but in a more transparent sense, we will be paying them a visit soon, and I would rather not be on the plagued end of your interest.
My worshippers are some of the finest healers in the city that one could hope to find. Pay them due course, should you so choose. Unique that you contact me, though, to learn of my underlings. Not the usual method. It tends to go in the reverse. You're rather direct in your methods, aren't you?
I find that it gets what I want faster than going from person to person, finding little pieces.
Interesting. You know, the last time I had a mortal contact me directly, they ended up with the unique plague of immortality. I wonder what effects my presence will have on your life. And the image of her fades out of the mirror. Tristaro!
Hey. I don't know any of that yet. I'm fine. This is fine. So I'm of two ideas. Well, we know they're healers. We know they're a secret cult, but we don't really know who actually is involved with this cult.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I need names and people that we can use to get in and distract and fool. And I think the only people I know who would have maybe a pulse on that would either be the Damned or the Dimmer Sisters. Both of which, one of which I only have a 1 with. To the Dimmer Sisters I go.
Okay. I guess it was, in this case, it was a matter of who do you want to owe the favor to?
You're right. Echo to Echo I go.
Speaking of which, where is the Damned on this list? I gave you a +1 with them. What the heck?
Yeah, I thought we did have one, but I guess it. Roll 20 text is weird.
It is. And we'll add that in there. +1 there. All right. So you are going to the Damned. And Asher, are you going with? Or are you doing your own thing?
I was gonna say, does Tristaro feel like they need any help in this?
No, I really don't think so. I think it's just gonna be, we're gonna be messing with a demon, well, specifically a cult, and I want your advice on who is involved with these people and what we should be aware of.
Then Asher will go a different route in the end, and keeping in mind that they are still rattled and bruised because we did not heal fully. We're going to be
No, you did not.
No. We're just going to be keeping a safe distance and attempting to case the joint, recognizing that it's probably not the most useful, but it's how we're pretending to be useful today.
Okay. So we'll come back to you casing the joint. Tristaro. You go to a now very familiar coffee shop. You have a unique status as the Murmur Venture Project in this case, as your little tier 1 gang who continues to associate with giants. In this case, not even counting Scurlock and the Hive, but the Damned is something else entirely. Getting in is very similar to what it is last time. Varan the Hammer, who was behind the counter last time you were there, is not there this time. You can just vaguely make him out, you think, behind a window in the back where he's in the kitchen. You think you see him, and you hear dunk, 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 where he appears to be breaking something with his hammer, working on something. You're not quite sure. He's obviously cooking though, because you can see the smoke. But you are guided by someone else down into the depths, into the dam's lair. As you are guided down there, you are directed to wait, and wait, and wait. After about 3 hours, you are pulled inside. Wax. Echo sits as ever, masked behind the desk, waiting. In the future, it would be in your best interest to make appointments.
I will endeavor to do so in the future.
Yes. Lest you find yourself kept waiting. I trust that the information you were given last time you came was useful.
Extremely. Actually, if you care to learn a little bit more about the people we went to, I'm going to pull out the mask from the outfit and just say, this was one of the items we found there, and I think you would have been entertained by some of the traps that they pulled off to retain, the best I could say is, the guilt of this church.
Echo kind of picks up the mask and they look it over and set it aside. I keep my ear to the ground. I've heard musings of what you saw there. I actually can say that I've encountered something similar myself in the sewers of Duskfall some time ago, but not quite the same. The thing that I encountered was more... The thing you encountered was very physical, am I correct?
To the point that Mort rode it like a goat.
Yes. The thing that me and my fellows encountered was more like a cannibalistic soul that had eaten many other ghosts in order to become this amalgamate creature monster thing. Similar vein, less physical, more spiritual.
Maybe different, maybe same process, just different ingredients of what was available. Because I remember the vicar that ran that place, I believe, sacrificed people in the name of justice and retribution.
Justice is such a loaded term and so relative, is it not? One person's justice spurns another, spurns another, spurns another, and justice is a cycle of vengeance, getting vengeance, getting vengeance. Honestly, at the end, it's better to just do away with the whole lot so that there's no one left to seek it.
Yeah, and an ideal, but then I wouldn't have customers if that was the case.
Fair enough. So, I imagine you didn't just come here to relay what you found on your little jaunt.
No. I'm just remembering a conversation and a skill you showed us on a boat, and made me think you might know more circles of demons who have their own little private meetings among the city of Dustfall. I want to know if you knew particular individuals who happen to know Satara's group, specifically a group that sits underneath in a underchapel underneath I believe it's north of 6 Towers.
Oh, that group. Interesting. have a little vendetta with this plague doctors, do we?
More business. We're looking to expand our venues and
Business.
outreach of our resources.
Business. Plague doctors tend to keep to themselves. Oh, you've fallen in with Scurlock, haven't you?
To my chagrin and my absolute delight. And I really want to hone in on, like, I do not mean this is delightful at all. I hate that I have to do this. But I'd rather deal with cultists than Scurlock at this point in time.
Scurlock is an old friend, I guess. He had his uses back in the day. We've had associations back and forth. And in the end, I let him live. So.
Well,
And he leaves us alone.
As a person who is also accessing his resources, I appreciate you letting him live.
Fair enough.
But considering you and Scurlock have had a history, is there anything you would like me to do? Because in all honesty, I like you more than I like Scurlock.
What are you using Scurlock for in this case? Wax.
My understanding is we want to expand this to quote his partner's words, to more esoteric realms, which in the
you're
long
looking for
run,
a distributor for cults.
Yeah.
Right. That's unfortunately not going to be our specialty. We can't really help you with that in his place. The reason being that the cults and individuals around here don't like us. We have a habit of killing their gods.
Honestly, a good habit to have.
Yes. So, we're not going to exactly be your in that regard. But, if there's something I need from you, you came here seeking information, I imagine.
As always.
As you are wont to do. The fact that I am your first choice for that, while delightful for me, speaks volumes. The amount of tenacity and confidence you have, honestly. You're lucky I like you. All right. In exchange for the information you want, your associations with Scurlock, I do want something. A mask. Scurlock's flock all wear masks. I want one of them.
Do you have a preference?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
There's a slight smile that comes to Tristaro's mouth as he says as Echo says, they don't have a preference. I'll figure something out for you.
The Shrike, the Blue Jay, the Owl, even the Crow. The mask does not matter.
I will say this with all the affection in my heart, Crow's off the table.
Fair enough. Understandable. I respect loyalty to one's associates. Absolutely.
But I'll work on something for you. I'll get a mask to you as soon as I can. And I mean that as soon as I can.
Well, until you do, you'll owe me one.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. Do not let that linger too long.
I try not to let that stay out too long. The
Anyway,
returns.
what information do you need?
Any people? You said they were plague doctors.
Doctors, yes, experimenters as well. Possibly some of the best doctors and healers in the city, I would say. Now, obviously, I don't have much associations with them, given our own ties. We have our own doctors that we go to, ones that I've directed you to in the past. But they certainly are well and truly skilled. And as the saying goes, though, medication in different doses is as deadly as poison. As are they.
I feel like it's not the first time that phrase has been said today.
And it will not be the last, I'm sure, if you're going to be around them. It is something of a phrase for them. They are dangerous, and everything they do with intent. And there is poison behind it, whether it is their words or their blades. So be careful, because even a scratch is going to be more dangerous to you than you think.
Gotcha. Okay.
As for their associations beyond that, you probably already know they're associated with the demoness Satara, demon of poison and medicine and its various applications. Really, almost the translation in our tongue almost comes out better to a demon of numbness. Beyond that, I would say they're not particularly the most well-connected group. They're pretty insular. Everyone has probably interacted with them at some point in state of emergency if they needed a truly good doctor. But that doesn't mean they're well-liked. If you piss them off, you're not going to piss off much anyone else.
Okay. So we find someone that doesn't really care for them, and they become our end.
There's lots of ends with them. They are also often willing to take on new students to associate to their craft. Their complex is immense. If you're trying to get in without being seen, you potentially use the shadows to your advantage. Though, keeping in mind, it is busy, and there's beyond the people there are also patients. And if you're simply looking to cut your way through, well, I would say application of explosives is going to be more apt than direct contact, as direct contact's liable to get you poisoned. Speaking of which, Wick, have you disarmed that bomb yet?
No, I haven't. Fuck off.
It was delivered this morning. It's going to blow up the base at some point.
Oh. No, that one I've disarmed.
What other bomb have you got? Never mind. Anyway,
I love your group. I love your group so much. They are all delightful in their own way.
they are unique, shall we say. Actually, you might,
Says the ghost fucker.
excuse me, what? I have
What?
never once, not even, I'm sorry, talk about ghost fuckers. Who's the asshole that likes to get possessed for fun?
And whose fault is that?
You volunteered.
I was voluntold. Slams door.
Just disarm any bombs before you go to sleep. Oh, motherfucker. All right, anyway. regardless, speaking of associates and our general group, we might actually have something for you in the future. It's a long-term project, so we will discuss that at a later date. But
Yeah.
In spite of his indiscrepancies and love for various mechanics, Wick is an incredibly useful individual, and I think he might have a use for you lot at some point. With something we're working on. We'll get back to that. And it could be a benefit to you as well, actually. So, regardless, I hope I've been an aid to you.
You have. Thank you so very much for the information, for the opportunity in the future, and I'm going to get you a mask. I do really enjoy the talks we have and the advice you share.
Absolutely. And be sure to bring any of your associates anytime you like. Just, as I said, make an appointment next time. You never know when there's stray explosives that we've been dealing with in the morning.
You know, knowing that could be a possible thing, I will make sure I do so next time. Just leave a letter with Hammer and then just make me okay.
And leave a note with Brand. Yes, that's fine. You could also make an order for a burned scone under your name.
I really like that. How can I add that to the boat? And I think Tristaro is just gonna like start walking, leaving after that note. And
great. And Asher, you go to scout the place out, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So you're specifically going to the north side of Six Towers to do some scouting.
Yeah.
That will be a study or survey, your choice.
Well, it's the same in either case. So let's go with survey.
All right. Give me a survey roll. It is risky standard.
And for me, because I have less effect right now because I'm still injured.
Yeah. Well, this is I guess lower the effect, unfortunately for you. So it is risky. Limited. Yeah. All right. Give us the roll.
It's not going
3.
great.
It's not so great.
We weren't expecting it to.
You know where the main entrance is, for sure. It seems like the majority of the complex is underground, so there's no windows per se to get in. Yeah. They probably have secret entrances, but unfortunately, you halfway through your basically your scouting mission, you start to get a headache from lingering effects from the last mission and kind of have to dip before you can really figure them out.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I'm going to try to be useful. It's probably not going to help much.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll go to our break. We will take a 5 to 10 minute break. And then when we come back, we will be getting into the engagement role and choosing how our crew will be getting themselves down into the catacomb chapel of the Plague Doctors to poison the chalice. But until then, we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes and see y'all then.
Bye.
And we're back. Our crew has acquired the information that they've sought out. They have taken a job from Scurlock to essentially poison with a tainted version of their own concoction, the cult's chalice of worship. And now comes the engagement plan. How are we infiltrating the Plague Doctors? How are we getting in to the Church of the Reverent Death? Are we... Because Mariana and Scurlock have put a very specific tag on this, as that you're not to be caught placing it. You cannot be caught. Which probably rules assault and violence off of the table. None to say the least that Mort also isn't here, and that could potentially go very poorly.
Rick just gifted us a really cool bomb that he just defused.
But There's of course deception, to lure, trick, or manipulate. There is stealth, which is to trespass unseen. There is occult, which is to engage a supernatural power. Or there is social, to negotiate, bargain, or persuade. What are we feeling? What are we thinking?
Right. So I'm going to go along the lines of we probably don't want to go stealth today. I feel like it's going to go poorly. Just putting it out there.
I am good at one thing, really only the one thing, so I will let everyone else decide.
Yeah, normally I am too, but I just, you know what, still feeling the last job. Kind of a
sorry.
bit. That's fine.
Well, I got a list of some of the doctors and such from there. I would be willing to. I think deception might be the best way to do it. Well, we could get their interest in us. I could take one of the bad vials of murmur.
I
And
was
y'all
just saying,
can
I'm
tr-
literally in pain already. I don't even need to act at this point.
Yeah, but if we really want to catch their interest and pull them
Yeah.
away and keep them distracted, they would need a subject to focus on.
So you're going to take one of the bad vials.
If we can get them interested in what is causing this person to fade and relive all their past memories,
So
that
I'm
might.
going back to you're going to take one of the bad vials. You remember what that does? Do you need a refresher at all?
I do. But also, we need the money.
You're not wrong. But...
So wait.
Yeah.
So the two options, the method of deception that is on the table here that I can see is either Tristaro's going to willingly inject himself with a tainted vial, and in order to undergo the bad reverie of what he will end up in, or you're going to take your injured party member to be treated. These are the two.
Yeah. To be fair, the thing is with these people, they are the best doctors, but also the fact that if we are going to infiltrate a cult, Asher could come out worse than before.
I've spoken to their mistress.
Oh. Do you think I am down with both these options, but also if we have them figure out what's wrong with someone who ingested one of these corrupt things, we could fast pass the counter agent and give the notes to Archie.
True. Tristaro, you realize by you taking the vial, that puts you kind of...
At a very disadvantage.
Yes.
It does.
And we are
But
already
here's the thing.
down one person.
Yes, but I'm looking at two of the stealthier people than me.
I'm not exactly correct on that.
Crow just starts laughing a little bit, like looks at you and just bursts out laughing.
Asher's convinced otherwise. We had a great time in the jail. I don't know what you're talking about. We
know where
were
your stats are.
smooth.
I have one die in prowl.
So do I.
Fine, that's plenty.
Throwing it out there as an alternative, what if you combined the ideas and gave Asher the tainted vial?
Asher's the
Good.
stealthiest one of us.
True, but Asher, if this is me throwing the plan, an idea of the plan out there, just as the voice of God. If Asher was treated for all of their maladies for getting cured, and Tristaro was there as a person at their side, convincing them, Crow could use the opportunity to try to find their way into the chapel, or vice versa, shuffle as you'd like. Alternatively, you could give the vial to Crow, who then is going to be severely haunted because of the shit that Crow has seen in their life. And that will be very interesting, and you'd probably get very good notes for Archie.
Giving this
And
to
then-
one of us, regardless, I think.
And then alternative, you have Tristaro, who you could give the vial, who's probably actually going to be able to handle it the best because he's already haunted a little bit and has gotten to
Yeah.
face his demons on a daily basis is the thing. He's already haunted by his memories. But he's be the most functional after taking it. Which is to say that if one of you other than Tristaro takes it, you're going to be working at, like, you're just going to be out of commission for, like, half the job. If Tristaro takes it, the things he's going to be doing are just going to go down a level in effectiveness, like a temporary harm.
Okay, yeah. That's probably better.
You know what? It's probably better. Probably. The second it's suggested that I take it, I'm like, never mind, actually, Tristaro. You know what, Tristaro? You enjoy pain like no other I have met. So, you know what? All you this time.
I might be able to, if you are doing that and distracting them, I might be able to come to them as someone who has spoken to her and offer the poison itself as a new way to be closer to her. They do enjoy taking it into themselves, the toxins that are hers. If I can convince them that this is something that she would want, then they would do it willingly.
Would be interesting. That's actually
But the thing
either
is,
way.
they might ask questions. And if they ask questions and go and try to commune with their goddess, then that might be more trouble than it's worth. As opposed to me coming in under any sort of guise of being there as a friend and then sneaking off to go, you know, do the vanishing thing I like to do and then knock it in there.
Regardless, the point of entry is deception.
Deception,
Anything
yes.
beyond that,
Yes.
and the deep method of deception is Tristaro taking a vial, and that's all the information we need for the engagement roll, and everything else we can figure out in the moment.
Yep.
So let's get ready to rumble. Let's roll the engagement. So,
Let's
with
pick
the
our
engagement
luck.
roll, you get 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yes! You're going to drug Tristaro and hope that they treat him instead of treating him like a test subject.
Is that the one line that we can use to describe what happened in today's session to poor Mort later? Please.
Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Almost. Not quite. Almost. There's some moving parts here, but it's not so much of like, this has to go, then this has to go, then this has to go. It's just, you've got a couple of things. It's like, you got to have a distraction here and an operation there, which isn't super complicated, but we get there. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? They are inherently interested in any medical and poisoning practitioner. This is a weakness of theirs. I will give you a die for that. Do they have particularly special defenses or special preparations against this? Not particularly. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight in this operation? They already have. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in this operation?
I feel like the answer is always yes, even if we don't know who they are. Or we
Not
do.
at war anymore.
In this instance, for once, no.
Woo!
Rarely. And are there any other elements I want to consider? I'm taking a die away because they are a higher tier than you.
Yeah.
So that is 3 dice.
Can I also make a
Record.
point of going ahead and using my blueprints for that under chapel area, just like old blueprints of like sewer entrances and you know, place that had a basement that had like an extra door put in. And I'm declaring my load as light for this because I'm supposed to be a patient. Why would a patient have guns?
Guns? Oh, yes. So you have a light load. What is everyone else's load? Medium or heavy? I assume because light load is discreet. Medium load is you look like a criminal going to do criminal things. Heavy load is you're going to goddamn war.
Yeah. The thing is, depending on how many, which one of us are like going. If anybody is stealthing in, that's one thing. But if we're all just going in to pretend like we are worried about Tristaro's health, then we probably want to come in as light load and not look super sketch.
Yeah.
So, are we all going light load or?
I think I am.
I'm gonna go medium.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
seem to need much more aside my lockpicks and stuff like that. The rest of it is me.
That is fair. So, with 3 dice, let's give this a check. That is a 6. You are starting off in a not risky, it's the controlled position. You are in a controlled position, and you start off by Tristaro, you take the vial of the tainted murmur, you look at it, you kind of
I think Tristaro just mutters under his breath. It'll be nice to see you again, Lemon Mercy. Okay. And basically just
right up the nose. All right. So you take the vial. Yeah. As you take the vial, it kind of goes, and immediately you are back to one of the most haunted memories of your life, where you are watching Lim on fire, whole body spontaneous combust from the inside out, standing there, unable to do anything about it. Little burn marks up your arms from the flickering flames from where you tried to help. And you are immediately caught in that. And that memory, it's one that haunts you normally anyway. This has just brought it to the forefront of your mind. You're still able to walk, to move, to talk, kind of, but you can't get it out of your head. It is the only thing there, and it is so vivid over and over again. You can hear Morosi crying. You can hear Lim screaming in pain. The flickering flames, if you didn't know better, were right in front of your eyes. But they are blurred and a little bit vague and see-through enough that you can see Asher and Crow, who have taken you one arm around each shoulder and are carting you through 6 towers up to the northern part of 6 towers. So you're in a stable, controlled position, and knock on the door to get inside of the chapel for treatment. A figure in a plague doctor mask kind of opens the door. Can I help you? Oh, Lord. Looks at you, Asher. Treatment?
This one, yes, please.
Oh, this one.
Tristaro's face is hot red, sweating, and it's hot to the touch.
Ah, okay. And kind of looks over at you, Crow. Right. Okay. And I need someone, since Asher, you're the one who talked, I need a consort roll.
Cool. Okay.
I need a consort roll. And yeah. It is in a controlled state, standard effect, which is then limited because of your injury.
Yep.
You can push yourself to increase the effect, or get a bonus die, or Devil's Bargain.
I was gonna say, what's the bargain?
The Devil's Bargain is that you get a bonus die, but regardless, they are taking you and your friends all the way through with on you with no chance to get away from them, all the way up to the hospital bed.
Okay, so it means that we will be stuck being pulled all the way in.
Yep, you will be in the heart of it, which means in, out, it's complicated from here on out, no matter where you go.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget, you do have blueprints from Tristaro on there. They can
Yeah, so even if we get into the heart of it, we can still figure our way through from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take the bonus die just to hopefully.
Okay. All right. Do you want the bonus die, or do you want to trade that die to increase your effect from limited to standard?
I would like to trade it from limited to standard.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going. So it becomes controlled standard.
Controlled standard.
And I've got my usual 2. So.
Yep.
That
is
I was gonna offer. Hey, shit.
It's fine. I got
You're
a 6
fine.
out of it. So.
hang on to your stress, Tristaro. You're gonna need it. So you, yeah, that is a 6. That is a unmitigated success. You are able, but you are pulled all the way in. So you're not just pulled into the chapel. You're pulled down underground through the catacombs into kind of the underworkings. There are people moving in, and you can see the dress of these plague doctors now. It's not like the traditional plague doctor that you see in like manuscripts. The plague doctor mask here is very similar in what you would imagine, but their robes are white, like hospital robes. They're white and sterile, with kind of a green trim around the hems everywhere. Kind of a very vibrant, I'd call it almost toxic green trim everywhere. And anyone who appears to be working here seems to have a plague doctor's mask on. Anyone who doesn't have one appears to be some form of patient. And the patients you see as you're pulled through vary wildly. Some people are afflicted with a pox. Like, there are dots up and down their arms. They are sweating. There's someone in the corner who's like being held down because they're convulsing with a seizure. Likewise, however, there are some people who look pretty fine, possibly on the back end of treatment or whatever, but or maybe their symptoms and things are just not so much near the surface. But regardless, it is a large ward, and you are in kind of what I would call the main largest room with multiple beds. Barely, most of them, any partitions are just thin cloth, people moving back and forth constantly. Tristaro, you are brought to a bed, immediately laid down onto the bed. And one of the doctor pulls out like a lantern light and starts shining it in your eyes. How long's he been like this?
Oh God, how long do you think now? I mean, it took us a little bit to get here, so.
About an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
unfortunate.
It happened very suddenly after he took something.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's kind of heavy too, so it's a lot for us to really like lug across town. So,
Yeah, right. Okay. So he took something.
One of those street drugs.
Yeah, what? I don't even know which one this one was this time. I just
Overdose, maybe then. Right.
I don't know.
Hey, can you hear me? Are you lucid? He kind of snaps his fingers in front of you, Tristaro.
In Tristaro's eyes, he sees like wood splintering and breaking, and is just like struggling against the bed sheets, yelling, "Marcel, let me go! Let me get!" And it's just like at one point, just like reaches up and tries to grab at the doctor.
Okay. What is your intent with that?
I think it's more of just like putting on a show and maybe even like pulling him to where it makes a scene enough for Asher and Crow to find a way out if they want to.
I would call that a sway roll, then. It's less about the physical aspect of it.
Yeah. Okay. What would a devil's bargain look like?
Devil's bargain here is that, Devil's bargain, you get a bonus die, but regardless of how you roll here, he's at least calling for an extra hand, another person over here.
Okay. I'm down for that. And then
it's controlled, standard right now. So you can trade position for effect. So you can go down to risky to up it to great. You can push it all the way down to desperate for extreme if you want.
Oh, desperate extreme. It's really good effect. I will push myself.
Okay.
And
for
yes,
an
I
extra
will.
die. Okay. And go all the way down to desperate extreme. Okay.
Yes. And then
great.
Final bit of sugar on top. Inside Tristaro's jacket is a bundle of papers, and many of them are journal entries. Some of them are kind of freshly written, but some of them are strictly from the night of the fire to kind of catch the doctor's eyes and make him go, okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
With the idea of like, I can relive that experience. I can fix this.
Give me a So mark that experience point if you haven't already. Desperate, extreme.
3 dice.
3 dice. Show us what you got.
I believe in me. That's a 6,
That is a
baby!
6. That is a 6. All right. So you are lashing out. He calls another person over as they start to pin you down. He kind of looks over you. Fuck. We got a murmur overdose, but I've never seen one this bad before. Jesus. God. Fucking Christ. All right. Hold on. Get it. Fuck. Give me a third. Give me a third. And a third person comes down to like hold Tristaro's feet. And he's kind of like looking over you. Ugh. All right. And he pulls out a needle and he's going to jam a sedative into your neck, Tristaro. You were so effective that they need to calm you. So I need a prowess resistance against that. A prowess resist if you choose to resist the effects. If you don't resist the effects,
I'm going to resist it, but more so this way, if I need to, I can kind of amp it up if needed. But also, I need to be coherent enough to leave later.
yeah. So give me a prowess resist then.
Yep.
Take
I'll
1
a 5.
stress. So you take 1 stress. All right. So the needle goes in your neck and you're like, and you like are able to mitigate most of the effects through sheer force of will. It's gonna come back later, and you're probably gonna be pretty numb and unable to move. You will probably be like, you might need a friend to take care of you after this, like back on the boat. Like you're gonna be kind of a wreck between everything that you've done today. But
I've done a total of 2 things today.
yeah, and both of them are take drugs.
Fair.
If you get injected with one more thing, I am going to give you a level of harm for it that is essentially brain-addled. Like, just, like, brain fog.
Mhm.
All right. So as he's lashing out and all this, you're so effective with that extreme effectiveness that you went with. I'm going to say you lash out, and it's not actually, like, painful. I will, other than like temporary. You slap and end up slapping and kicking your companion, specifically Asher in this case. Asher gets slapped and kicked, and one of the hands who's brought is like after you're kind of like mimicking the effects of the sedative taking place as you're trying to force your will against it, kind of like stops looking. Shit. Sorry about that. You might want to go get yourself checked out. Just basic general first aid care.
Okay.
Oof. He kind of looks at you for a second. You got a nasty bruise on your head, though, and that's an older one.
Yeah, no, it's healing. It's fine. It's gonna be. It's a long story.
You
Maybe I'll
go
get
there.
that too.
I
Just
will
down the
figure
hall,
that out.
or just...
Yeah, go with your friend.
Okay.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
probably want to watch this. This isn't
No,
pretty.
thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's down the hall. First door on the right.
Right.
If you get lost,
Left. Nope. Right.
people can give you directions.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Right.
Wander down.
And directs you towards the hall. Now, here's the question: are you actually going to the first aid session?
No.
I didn't think so.
Oh
I
my
just thought it
God.
might be an opportunity for our lovely thief here to actually get some actual injuries treated.
I mean, if
No.
you want to go, I can
No.
do this alone.
I was gonna. No. I was gonna
So
take care
you
of it. It's
have
fine.
the blueprints that Tristaro gave you.
Yes.
You know that from the direction that you were directed, it's technically not the right direction, but there's some side halls that you can move down. But from there, you're going to be moving from the hospital wing into more of the ritualistic ring, the area where people might start questioning why you're there, kind of a thing, raising queries.
Is there a storage closet on the blueprints where perhaps they would keep extra robes and masks?
This is the Asher Crow special at this point. We find the costumes, okay?
Give me
We're here
a
to put
survey
costumes on.
roll. Give me a survey roll and give yourself increased effectiveness because of the blueprints that you were given. So you are going at what would be a controlled great effect with that.
I'm
Or
going
survey.
to push myself because I have no dice in survey. So
That's a good plan, I would say the least.
Could I use a flashback at that point to offer aid? in a +1 die and just like point out all the small little inlets where it's like this probably ended up being a supply closet. This is the broom closet. This is probably like a trash room you don't want to go through. It has like a sewer chute down here, but if you
Yes, and that because of your stuff, that's your first flashback that you don't have to. You don't take stress for that, actually.
Yep.
Cool.
And then I
Yes,
will
you're
take-
definitely able. So bonus die. There.
Nice.
Um,
And then is it 1 stress to push yourself or 2? I forget.
It's 2 stress to push yourself. It is 1 stress to help someone else. So if Asher also wanted to help you find it, Asher would take 1 stress and would
How about
you'd
I'll
get another
help
die.
you as well here, just in like the recalling what Tristaro told us and go. Think you mentioned this place, and kind of go from there. So I'll take 1 stress to help you.
Thank
All
you
right.
both.
It's still better you doing this role than me. So.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was not. So here is your consequence for which you can choose to part of the consequence you can't resist because it's just a thing that's there. Part of the consequence that you'll be able to resist, we'll get to. You do find the closet. You do open it. And inside there are 2 people. There are 2 people who are in the process of getting dressed. You don't know what they were doing in there. But as you like look into the closet and they look at you, one of them immediately takes a swing at you, like just on just fucking reaction of like of being caught is like, so that is your resist roll here, Rue. That is Crow. You gotta, if you want to resist the effect of taking a broken nose,
Yeah.
that's a prowess resist.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so you take 1 stress.
Not bad.
Very good. But that still means there's 2 people in here in the closet that one just tried to take her, and you kind of ducked as it goes over your head. How are you approaching the situation?
I look at Crow to see if they try to do anything, because otherwise I'm about to start talking.
Crow is caught between saying something along the lines of, "It seems like our idea has already been taken."
Okay, actually, we're rolling with it. We thought that this closet was not occupied. Dear, we're gonna have to
Sorry.
go find something else.
Yes, I'm very sorry.
So one of you needs to make me a sway roll. Who it is up to you, but you can have the other one help by taking stress if you choose.
I got
I
1
have
die
one.
and sway. We're both
Okay, we both have 1.
I'm still injured, so I'm less effect.
Okay, so I'll do it if you don't mind.
And
Okay.
I'll spend a stress to help you.
All right, so you get a bonus die there, which is good.
Do you have a bargain for me?
Do I have a devil's bargain for you? I do. Regardless, yes, my devil's bargain, you get a bonus die. However, they might want to join you.
Okay. I'll figure that out. Mostly, I'm spooky, so probably not after a little while. Okay. Is it still controlled?
You're still in a controlled position, surprisingly.
Okay.
Haven't fallen back down to risky yet. You're getting close, depending on how this goes.
Let me take my 2
One more roll
bonus
like the
dice.
last one, and you might be in a risky position. You're in a controlled
Yeah.
standard, so you can trade
Okay.
to risky great or desperate extreme. Remember.
What do you think? Do you want me to switch to the risky great?
How many dice
Or do
do
you
you
want me
got?
I will have a total of 3 after this.
Yeah, it might be worth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Risky great. with 2 bonus dice. Let's see how this goes.
That is
the
triple
record.
sixes. That is a critical success. Triple sixes. 666. That is the number of the crow.
It's because I
Okay.
have 3 different demons I'm talking to at any given time.
Not only do they believe you, not only are they so on board for this, they are already taking their clothes back off. Like they are into this. They're ready.
Ooh.
How you choose to approach that is on you. But they definitely believe you, and they're definitely okay with it.
Can I attune and call Rick?
You want to call Rick?
Yeah,
Can I ask why?
because the easiest way that I can think of to get these people to stop wanting to fuck me is to bring a ghost into the situation.
Fair enough. Give me an attune roll.
Okay, keep that in my mind the next time I get awkwardly hit on. I'm just gonna see if I can summon a ghost instead.
Are we back in control, or have we
You're
made
still
things
in
risky?
control. Yeah, no, that crit. You are very well in control.
Okay. I've got 3 in attune, so we should be fine.
You're controlled standard at this point. You can go to risky grade. It's up to you.
No, I'm good, I think, for this particular roll.
All right. Give me a controlled standard roll.
Yeah. 6.
That is a 6. All right. So they're like they're kind of getting themselves ready. Is the thing, and then like the fading form of Rick kind of comes in the background, kind of like, yeah, I'm here to watch. Don't
I
mind
do
me.
so love it when you do.
I'm the usual tag along. No matter. Yeah, baby.
Hello. It's good to see you.
I like the curve of those masks, he says to the play doctors. Both of them immediately like and just walk out, just gone. Just like they're not gonna do anything with it. They're like, oh no, we'll leave you to this.
Oh, thank you. Maybe
we're
next time.
You know, we understand the healing properties of a good time that can be had with individuals, and sometimes that's the best treatment for our patients, kind of a thing. But it would be unprofessional as us as doctors to involve ourselves in the process. So we're going to excuse ourselves. And they kind of make their way out, and you and Asher are left in the closet with Rick. What? Show's over?
I was really hoping they would stick around. Like, genuinely. I didn't understand what scared them about it.
I'm sorry, I don't think we've been formally introduced. Hi.
This is my friend, Spectre. Spectre, this is Rick.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You as well. Thank you, I think, for the assist there. I think.
It's fine. Everyone likes a peep show, I guess. But not everyone, obviously.
I was gonna say, I think different strokes, different folks in different cases in this situation. I would have been very curious if they chose to stay, actually. And then I'm not actually certain what we would have done.
I gotta be honest, I'm not certain what I'd done either. Really, not my bag. I was just trying to play along.
Which I appreciate.
Thank you.
That was fun.
I
That was
appreciate
good.
it.
I'm glad, glad to help in this instance. Do like spooking the normies a little bit sometimes, kind of
I
thing.
thought you would have fun.
I do like that energy. That's good.
Interesting situation, to say the least, but I don't know. Even when I had a body, that wasn't kind of my thing. I don't know.
Fair.
No interest.
That's okay. You can go back to making fun of my interests.
Yeah, well, I can make fun of your interests up and down all day. It's fair. Kind of funny, the two of you together. You're very similar, says pointing at Spectre and you. Just like two sides of the same coin.
What are you implying?
Well,
I'm implying that I liked a good casino too, but like, I didn't use the tables that way.
Missing out then, really.
Again, not my bag.
Fair. Again, different strokes, different folks. So, wait, have you used casino tables that way? No, never mind. Sorry, different conversation, different time. We'll save that for
we can
later.
talk later.
Not a casino table. No. Pool table.
Um,
And then Rick kind of just fades out of existence.
We're gonna talk later. I think this is a good time for us to catch up.
we can talk later, yeah.
Trade tips.
Anyway, I was thinking we should dress up like them and go
Yeah.
down to the cult zone.
Yeah, let's see what we
Yes.
can find.
Tristaro, you are now strapped to the bed. Leather straps have been put on your legs and your arms. You've been put in place, and there's like 3 doctors who are looking over you. As they're kind of looking over you, the effects of the tainted murmur have not faded. You have experience with murmur. You've done regular murmur before. It doesn't last this long. It lasts a good amount of time. That's the point. But it's not supposed to be this deep and this vivid for this long. Sure, the effects linger. Sure, the memory stays in your mind usually for the rest of the day. But this vivid imagery, this is something else. And as you're kind of strapped to the table, you can feel the clink in your breast pocket of the untainted murmur as well. The one that you were given at the start. But I am going to need either a consort or sway roll from you to convince the doctors that the sedative is still taking effect, that you've been fighting off, and that you are more or less compliant.
Yeah, I think it's just Tristaro starting to close their eyes and say, "It's not that hot. It's not that hot. I'm in a bed. It's not that hot. It's okay." And what actually is happening is Tristaro is still seeing everything burning in front of him.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to push myself one more for this.
Okay.
What's
So
my
take 2
position?
stress.
Yeah, what's my position?
You're still in a controlled position. Your effect is still standard.
Okay, so rescue to great, and yeah. I'm not gonna. What's my devil's bargain in this scenario?
Your devil's bargain is that they are like, if you do this well enough, they're going to move you to a different wing, a more fortified wing, for observation, possibly your own room. And they are probably going to want to keep you at least overnight.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. You know what? Rescue up to grade.
Okay. Risky, great.
Mm-hmm.
Extra die.
Yeah.
Give me the roll.
2 extra dice. I'll take a 5.
5. Okay. So you're able to definitely kind of put the downers on, they put the downers, they put on the effect that they're working. They're like, all right, this one's a problem. Oof. Might have given a little bit too much a sedative because it is a 5, so there is still a negative consequence. I'm gonna look at you. Oof. Might need a little bit of a jolt to wake him up. One of them brings out some electric paddles. Sure. And you're going to be resisting the prowess harm of electric shock.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that. I believe in me.
Okay.
I have enough for 1 stress. And it's full.
That is 1 stress. Okay. So Tristaro, you are. Wait, is that? Did you just trauma out or quirk out?
Yeah, I quirked out.
And with that, Tristaro gets shocked and immediately is unable to keep his attention on the effects of forcing off the sedative and goes numb. And his bed is wheeled away into a different wing. Back to Asher and Crow, who have now dressed themselves to look like plague doctors.
It's time for the Asher and Crow show.
Time for the
Pretty
Asher and
much.
Crow show.
Somehow, somewhere, there's this weird little twinging feeling in the back of my brain, and I'm like,
We should be worried
we
about
should be worried.
Tristaro.
But we can't do anything about that, so we won't.
We left him alone for 5 minutes.
That was our first mistake.
You all knew what would happen eventually. Aren't you happy I gave you that backup character?
You're at 3 out of 4, yeah? Quirk?
Yeah.
3 out of 4 quirks.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're gonna keep you permanently
Fine.
strapped to that bed, and you're just staying there on the boat from now on. That's how
Can
this is
wheel you
happening.
around.
Tristaro might have to start going to therapy to try to get rid of one of his quirks.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look at it this way.
Oh,
get
we
to-
were already gonna suggest that after what we saw in that hospital
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
That's where Asher was going. So.
All right. So Crow, Asher,
Yes.
you are dressed. You're in the ritual wing. You have the blueprints. So making your way down there, there's no rolls. There's nothing you need to do there. You're able to make your way into the chapel. Easy enough. The underchapel of the ritual site. This chapel, this underchapel, it reminds you very similar to the one you saw in the Deadlands, but more upkept, a little more modern. The benches, or pews, as you might consider them, are not just flat wood. They have comfortable seating everywhere, growing around from various pots and hanging trellises are a variety of plants. And Crow, you recognize at least 2 or 3 of them from your time with Mariana and the like in Scurlock's flock. That's poisonous. That's poisonous. That's poisonous. That's carnivorous.
Don't touch that one.
Okay. Yep, hands firmly to myself today. Okay.
And in the center, there is this massive chalice, large enough that one person can hold it, but it would take both hands. The basin of which is deeply filled, and approaching it, you can smell the heady scent of mead and wolfsbane and other concoctions and chemicals. But as you approach it, both of you feel it, but Crow, you feel it more acutely. There is some kind of force repelling you. Not in a like physical kind of sense, but it's in the sense of like each step you get closer, the deeper and deeper your fear becomes, to the point that when you're right up next to it, you cannot stand to be there anymore and you have to back up. It is so overwhelming that it overwhelms the fear center of your brain into a fight or flight response, and you have to move away.
Is there anyone else in here?
It seems abandoned at this point. Abandoned in the sense that no one's here at the time. Definitely well used, but
Yeah.
Crow, you don't happen to think that there might be any, mystic eyes watching us in any way, shape, or form?
Can I attune and see if I feel anything?
go ahead and give me an attune roll. You are still in a controlled position, surprisingly. It is a standard effect. Go ahead. You can, of course, do risky, great, desperate, extreme.
I think because I am just surveying for things, I will not push that. I don't want to risk something getting my attention. Okay, Let's see. It's a 6.
Is a 6. All right. Crow is rolling very well today. There is a force here that you can feel. It is the goblet itself is an artifact similar to the branding iron, the knife, and various other things that you've interacted with. In this instance, this is an artifact that has been touched with. It's demon touched, blessed, you could call it, or cursed, depending on how you see it. But it is in itself a certain kind of toxic, but it's not physically toxic. It is a mental toxin, and one that causes you to poison yourself with fear if you try to approach it without the proper protocol, which is something that the various doctors here probably have as worshippers.
We have to approach it in a certain way that neither of us know, regrettably.
Then neither of us what?
Neither of us know. It has to be approached in a particular way.
I kind of like look at my arms. These tattoos aren't going to help me a ton, are they?
No, I don't. I think they would keep you from her sight if she were watching specifically. But
Well, that's useful still. Right. Do we think it's worth me, bamping into a shadow and then just, dumping it in and hoping for the best, or?
is there liquid in it right now?
Yes, you can
Okay.
smell, it is heaty. It seems to almost fill the room. It is mead and wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Would you be able to approach it in a shadow or no?
Yeah. No, I can do that. I'd be able to, and I mean, I can either go shadow or I go full out invisible. It depends on how serious we think this is, but I can do so for a couple moments, be ready to do what needs to be done.
It
Is it
Hmm?
I was gonna say, is it an inhaled toxin, like a puff of gas, or is it like
It starts off as
spores?
a liquid.
It's a liquid.
Okay.
Oh wait, are you talking about the vial that you have?
No, I'm
Vials?
talking about the plant, the protected plant that you need a protocol to follow.
Oh no, it's not a plant. It's the chalice itself is an artifact, and there's a protocol or some kind in place that it needs to be had to approach it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Otherwise, what could the protocol be? I just...
I don't know that putting on my spirit mask would help because it's not necessarily seeing a ghost-related thing or blocking, because it does block spiritual energies, but I don't know that this would count.
I do have an idea of a flashback if I can use my last use of foresight.
You do have one use of foresight, which doesn't take stress, so I would allow it.
Okay. So if we want to, knowing that this chalice is an artifact, I think after meeting with Archie, Tristaro stepped into the library and just grabbed a variety of books and basically read through all of them and said right before the score, if you all make it to the chalice, there's a chance this is going to be part of the protocol, and goes through a few different rituals of what the demon of toxins preferred their followers to do when approaching.
Okay. Sure. All right. So you used your last use of foresight. Tristaro is officially fully out. Cannot do anything. And you are managed to... So, Crow and Asher, here are the information you have. You know a basic protocol, something that might help you mitigate the effects getting close, if not overcome them. You have demon-resistant markings on Asher and a spirit mask on Crow, both of which might allow you to also partially mitigate the effects. You only have to be there long enough to dump the vials into it. How do you want to approach this?
Could you get up above it? Because if you could get above it and just drop it, it would probably just pour it over. It would be less time than we would need to be up next to it. I can get up into the rafters if you cannot.
I mean, I could climb. That's the effect of me getting up anywhere. What is
Me
this?
also, I can't fly.
Yeah. Okay, I do. You never know. The name Crow, maybe. Anyways, didn't think you could fly before this. Never, of course not. Did not make that assumption. What does the ceiling of this room look like, anyways?
It is the I don't know if Baroque is the right term, chapel with the
Okay.
flying buttresses that kind of go up in an
Okay.
arch over it.
Perfect. So there are
Kind of a
places
thing.
that you could get to.
Yes. And if I can make a suggestion, since you have gone with the idea of pouring from the top, keeping in mind that pouring from so high up is going to make it bubble and possibly spill over. However, Tristaro did. I'm going to use this little bit of Tristaro going through protocol, but also looking into the demon of poisons. There is a history of poisoning in Duskfall, as you would expect in a city full of rogues and ruffians and ruthless assassins. And when researching a demon of poison, you end up finding fairly common methods of poison. And a rather ancient method of poison that was used, that you would be familiar with, is the idea of suspending a string over a sleeping person's open mouth and running the liquid down the string.
Down the string.
It would be slow because you'd have to do the vials all the way down, but it wouldn't leave a trace in terms of potential spillage if you choose to go from up high.
I think we can do that. Yeah.
I think so as well.
All
Right. So,
Asher.
yeah.
Give me a finesse roll to get up.
Okay. Controlled still?
There's no one here. No one has, you all have been silent, and I'm gonna be honest, a good portion of the entire institute is now focused on Tristaro, who has
Fair.
gone into an almost catatonic state.
That's a later us problem. Okay, I'm still unfortunately limited in my... Yeah. Yes.
I can help you if you would like. I will give you a boost.
Okay, good. That'd be nice.
All right, so give yourself a bonus die for that. Crow, take the stress.
Yep.
There's a 6.
That is a 6. So with that little boost, you're able to push yourself up, and then Asher, being the specter they are, flips over, easy as pie, like a gymnast. Like does a quick barrel, lands on their feet on top, skitters up to the top, and runs. Are you running a string, or are you just dropping?
I'm gonna run a string.
You are going to run a string.
Yeah.
And you're going to begin to slowly drip down into the chalice. Now, this is a slow process. It's going to take a while. When you're about halfway done, you hear someone start coming down the hall. You, Crow, because you're on the floor, hear someone start coming down the hall towards the chapel. They are definitely going to get there before Spectre is done.
I am going to set about collecting plants from the various pots so that when they get in, it looks like I am harvesting things. Like towards the front of the room, so that I'm kind of like between them and the chalice, so that they can't quite see a direct line to it.
Okay. All right. So you start kind of snipping a few plants. As they open the door, Asher, you're about 2/3 of the way done.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk in. What? What are you doing?
I have had a wonderful new idea.
I'm sorry, what? What kind of an idea? Also, why are you harvesting from in here instead of the garden?
Because the ones that are in here grow closer to her.
And I'm going to need a sway roll from you. You have a bonus die because of your consorting with Satara earlier already. You are in a controlled position with a standard effect. The thing that you're having to mitigate here more is keeping the eyes on you and not on Asher.
Yep.
Or the string, for that matter.
Yep. Do you have a devil's bargain for me?
I do, and the devil's bargain is that they want to hear all about your idea at length. And if you roll us exceptionally well, they might be taking you to the Scholar's Quarter.
Okay. We'll see how well I do. I will take that.
Okay.
2 bonus dice for a total of 3 in sway. Let's see. It's a 6.
That is a 6. That is a 6, which is an unmitigated success. Tell us about this idea. Yeah, yes. If something, are you theorizing that the potency of the plant is greater as it grows closer to the chalice and Satara?
Yes, I was thinking because I was noticing that the roots of the plant seem to point towards her when they are growing, and so if they are drawing from her directly, they may have more potency both for the healing and the poisoning effects. And so I was wondering if we took one clipping from each of the plants that grows in here and compared them to clippings from the garden and had a notable effect, we could begin mixing them and making stronger concoctions based on the plants that are in here.
That is true. We have been in search of a stronger analgesic for those of us, for those of our patients and the like who come in with stronger pain resistances or stronger resistances to the various concoctions we use. Yes. This is actually a fascinating idea. I think there was a theorem on it postulated about 20 years ago by one of our predecessors. Why don't you come with us? They start guiding you to the library away from here.
Yes, of course.
Asher,
I like behind me, I like wave behind my back. Like,
Asher, the drip, you finish pouring down as Crow is carted down a hallway in the opposite direction from where you came from in the first place, where you know Tristaro to be.
Cool.
You pull the string back up. The job is done. What would you like to do?
Well, okay, so the problem is we now left Asher alone, and that is always a life choice. I'm gonna make my way down.
Yeah.
And if I don't hear anybody coming in, I'm gonna see if there's anything sparkly in this room to, take as a souvenir.
Other than the chalice, I assume.
I am not touching that one. We already have an artifact from like a god. We're good.
Yeah. So you kind of survey the room. I'm not going to make you roll for this. Survey the room. This is a place of worship. As is recognized in many places of worship, there is oftentimes artifacts that are, holy, sometimes kept in cases and the likes. Artifacts that you would know would probably be noticed if they went missing.
100% don't want it.
However, this is also a hospital. Hospitals get paid for doing their job of healing people. There is probably a place where the money that they get paid for doing their job is kept.
Yeah.
So, and you still have the blueprints.
I was gonna say, I still have the blueprints, right? I'm gonna take a look at those blueprints, see if I can figure out where that might be, and maybe just see if I can't make a detour there on my way out, as I maybe attempt to collect people.
All right. That is the question. Are you detouring to leave, or are you actually going to try to go get Tristaro and Crow?
I will at least try to check in on Tristaro. Crow I would probably do first, just to see, while I'm still in outfit.
Yes.
But then I would want to ditch it before trying to find Tristaro.
Well, that is closer to the financial office that you would want to go to, theoretically.
Okay. Then I'm gonna probably go Crow first, and then tell Crow that we. No, actually, I'm not gonna tell Crow. I'm just gonna start leading us that way.
So you kind of make your way towards Crow, where you see Crow is looking a little teaching assistant-y now, holding 2 vials in their hand while 2 other lab assistants around them are skirting, handing them things and they handing back. Crow is busy. Crow is not going anywhere.
I just thumbs up to Crow. We good?
Crow's like, yes. Okay. I'm back in a chemistry lab.
Again.
Okay, if you're
Why am I getting flashbacks to work?
Yeah.
We're gonna head over towards where the money is instead. If Crow's fine, then
Oh yeah, Crow is fine. Crow is just like entering the same dissociation they enter into when they go to their work. Just like another day in the lab. At least I'm not paying for this one, I guess.
Fair.
You head over to the financial office. The financial office is, well, it's where they do the finances. There's ledgers, books, all those things. And yes, there is a safe where they keep what would be called their cash on hand.
Mhm.
Most of their money, they unsurprisingly keep in a bank.
That's fair.
Is the thing. But, when people pay in cash up front, sometimes, they probably have a day that they do a bank run. So who's to say how much money at any one time is in that vault? It could vary wildly.
Yeah.
Currently, as you approach the office, you think you hear a person inside, I will also say.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
So there's just this big vault that's there, correct? Is that what this is?
It's not even that big from what you can tell looking at the blueprints is what it is there's a financial office inside of which is mostly an office where the accountant does their work and ledgers, and there is a vault similar to the kind about a little bigger than the size you'd probably keep behind a picture frame if you were to have a hidden vault kind of a thing.
Ah, yes, one of those,
wall.
my favorites. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to go in and just like knock on the door prior to, and I'm going to pretend like
Come
I
in.
work here. Hi, I'm really hoping you're the person I need to speak to.
I am quite possibly. Yes.
Well, no, here's the thing. I've been getting the runaround about where I'm supposed to get paid. I'm picking up extra shifts here, and honestly, how the payment system works is beyond me. So I was told that I would be get paid directly. I was told my supervisor would actually be the person that does it. Suddenly they're telling me that's not the case, and I have bills to pay. There's rent due.
Right.
I owe a few people, and you know how it goes. And so I'm just finding them like.
Give me a sway roll.
Okay.
Give me a sway roll.
Okay.
Controlled
still.
It's still controlled for now. It's surprisingly controlled because one of your friends is quite literally now a patient.
I know.
And your other friend is no one has been alerted of anything, is the thing.
Just funny.
Y'all haven't set anyone even partially on alarm. I'm impressed and baffled.
It's okay.
And also,
I'm sure I'm fixing that right now. I'm sure I'm gonna fix that. I just have no faith in this whatsoever. So controlled. Perfect.
Controlled, standard.
Limited for me though because I have less effect.
Limited for you. So if you want to push it to risky standard, that's up to you.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay.
Risky standard, and I'm actually going to. Yes, because then I'd still have a little just in case this goes absolutely south. I'm gonna push myself to get an extra die.
Okay. Give me the roll.
Okay. Yeah, told you this is where this goes bad. Told you.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sure.
Rolled a 1 and a 2, folks. That's really good.
Down. Yes. And he's going to Dr. Lionis, is it? And he looks at the tag on the robes that you've stolen. Dr. Lionis.
Yeah.
Kind of reaches over and you see him his hand is trailing, and this is the thing that you have to try to resist here. This would be an insight resistance. He seems to be going for a button on his desk, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay, question. Really,
Answer.
actually. So when I had a playbook advancement last time, and I took up Shadow as a special ability. You may expend your special armor to resist a consequence from detection or security measures, or to push yourself in a feat of athletics or stealth.
Yes. So you mark special armor use. You mark that you've used it for this, and you you expended your special armor to resist that effect instead of rolling for stress. So so rather than that is it's basically for a security measure. He kind of goes. You see him push the button. And I'm going to play this more along the lines of you've already, a little bit of shadow has gone in around you. and disconnected it.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to, and he starts going through like a long list of things he needs from you. Obviously, trying to keep you
I need
busy
to
until
make-
someone shows up.
And I start just like acquiescing, actually recognizing that like nobody's probably showing up at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm so sorry for the extra paperwork. This is absolutely dreadful, isn't it? I mean, realistically though, but like, do you really need all these papers? I was told I already filled out these ones. Are you sure?
I mean, theoretically, if you filled out the papers, why don't we take a trip to the file room across the hall and go look for them?
I have to get back to patients. You know how this is. Do you
Of course I
really
know how
wanna
this
keep
is,
me
but-
away from that? You know what? How about you go and do that, and I'll come back and talk to you later when I have another break. Because unfortunately, this means my break time is over.
Sure. Right, he kind of is confused that no one has come. Why don't I see you out?
Fine.
And he guides you out of his office, down the hall, and back to the medical wing, kind of like looking like, what the fuck? And there's no alarm, no one seems obvious.
Yeah.
I gotta get my button checked,
You're what?
I guess. Nothing. How long have you worked here?
I told you I've been brought in just for a few extra special cases.
Right. Give me another sway roll.
Okay.
The sway roll here is that whether or not he is going to follow up in the
Okay.
long term on this.
Oh,
The idea.
That's fine. They don't really want me as a doctor here, let me tell you.
In the sense of like follow up on
Yeah.
who you are, why are you
Yeah.
here, what the fuck?
Fair.
I have never seen you before.
Controlled?
Control?
Or like-
Well, no, this is risky now.
Okay. Risky, it's limited right now. Still just sway. You know what? I'm just gonna. What's the devil's bargain in this case? Is there one?
Devil's bargain in this case is that what would be a good devil's bargain for you here? I don't have a devil's bargain for you. I'm open to suggestions if you have one. Is the thing.
I might have one.
Oh God.
Okay, Cole.
This person walks past where Tristaro is and points at him and goes, "Isn't that the gravekeeper from the Weeping Lady?"
It's not really a consequence for Asher, though.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Okay, that's fair.
So
Could this doctor be also a frequent person at the high tables?
I was gonna say, yeah, they
That's
could
the other one, too.
recognize my voice at this point.
oh, I like that one better. Yes, I think they're going to be a frequenter at Helene's Silver Stag. To what extent, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
there's a chance that in the future that might come back to bite you.
That's fair. I'll take that one.
All right, so that's the devil's bargain. Go ahead
Yeah.
and give me the roll. It is risky, limited. I guess you can push it to
Limited.
desperate. Oh,
I
okay,
still did it, but I have 5,
Hmm.
so
right. Back to work. I'll make sure your financials are up to snuff.
thank
we say.
you.
And he kind of wanders out. What are you up now, Asher?
We're gonna see if there can. I'm gonna find one of the more closer closets to ditch the gear, and then
Okay,
I'm gonna head
that's
back towards
doable.
Tristaro.
Okay, so you do that. You head back to the main room. You look around. You don't see Tristaro anywhere.
If I can find any of the people that I saw working on him earlier, I'm gonna try to find
Sure.
them.
Yeah, your friend has been moved to a private ward for now.
I'm sorry.
Currently, he's under observation, really making sure he's getting some rest while we can try to find a way to mitigate the effects of the drug that appear to have really gotten into his system.
Right.
I suggest you come back for them later, perhaps.
Okay. Like when later? Are we
unless-
talking like an hour or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Unless you like to stay with them, I suppose.
Sure. If that's doable, can I?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Directs you to the room, and there's no additional beds, but there is a chair.
I'll take the chair.
And yeah, that's kind of the job. Tristaro is released the next morning, addled for sure. Tristaro, you overcame the effects of the drug eventually, but for the whole time it lasted, it was strong in your mind up to the point that you eventually passed out due to the sedative. And even now, it seems to haunt you a little bit. Asher, you're just kind of like, damn, missed another vault.
Yeah, pretty much.
And as for Crow, you were actually the first one to leave. As when the work shift ended, you got to go home. You just left.
Walked out.
Just walked out, like a person who worked there.
My shift in the lab was over. I'm done.
You didn't want to work a double?
Well,
No, I have another lab to go work at.
And as you kind of make your way back home, in the days that follow, you hear a report, specifically a report of an outbreak of some kind in the north of Six Towers. An outbreak that led to a great number of the doctors there having seeming effects to almost psychosis, losing their sense of self and where they were, and eventually pouring out into the streets to such an extent that some of them had to be arrested, put into cells, not necessarily because they did things illegal, but for the sake of their own safety. They seem to have happened like almost instantaneously. None of the patients were affected, but almost all of the doctors were. And that is how, in the long term, they also find out about the poisoning of the chalice, though not while you were there. And then we go into downtime. So let's start downtime real quick by going into, of course, as usual, the payoff. In this case, you go back to Scurlock and Mariana and the flock. We're not going to go into too much detail here unless someone goes there on their downtime activities, if they so choose. But you are substantially rewarded in the sense of you are given, they promised their through line, and of course you did a job. So you get paid 4 coin. 4 coin, which is enough for 1 for each of you and 1 for the crew, if you so choose, since Mort is not here today. Unfortunately, your vault is actually full.
Whoops.
So if you want to put that coin anywhere, someone else has to take it.
I don't need any downtime activities, so if someone else wants to spend it, I don't need any extra ones. So maybe we want to let Wax go to therapy.
Yeah, actually, can we invest this into Wax's therapy bills going forward? Because I think that would be a good one.
Wax's extra downtime starting to work off one of those quirks.
Yeah, we're actually starting a quirk jar. Every time Tristaro gets a quirk, we have to put a gold in it. So it's going in that.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
It's not a
I was actually going to
suggestion.
pitch that Asher should take it because either
They're harmed.
all that.
Oh yeah, I mean I am in pain. I'll take it.
Yeah, take it. I will take mine 1.
All right. So then we go into heat. This was smooth and quiet, low exposure, 0 heat. Like you get no heat for this. This is not a high profile target, so there's no +1 for that. There's no +1. It did happen on hostile turf, so you'll take a heat for that, is the thing. But other than that, let me pull up the cruise sheet. Yeah, I think it's just the 1. I think you take the 1 heat. Now, to be fair, your heat bar is still almost full, but you didn't fill it and go to a wanted level 2 this time. So, well done. Maybe the least amount of heat out of a job. You all managed to do that without exactly as Scurlock and Mariana wanted it. Very impressive, to say the least.
Mhm.
All right. Now we get to go to entanglements, which means we get to roll on your wanted level to see what kind of an entanglement you get.
Oh.
That is a 1, which is one of the blue crows grabs someone in the periphery of your crew, not y'all's, but one of your friends or vice purveyors, your choice. And someone can volunteer a friend or a vice purveyor to get grabbed by the blue coats.
Shame they can't grab ghosts, because I would say Rick would have been hilarious.
That
as
would
a
be so
side
funny, but
note.
no, that means the spirit
No.
wardens would go after Rick, and that's a
I
bad
know,
time.
we don't want that one.
No.
I hate to say it, my first thought went to Archie.
No, we can't put him in jail.
I would like it.
Jail.
I would like it pointed out that the effects of this are what will make a fortune roll for what happens, and it's just a 1 die fortune roll. On a 1 to a 3, y'all get an additional 2 heat, which would push you to wanted level 2. On a 4 to 5, whoever you volunteer takes level 2 harm. On a 6, nothing happens, and they manage to successfully resist questioning. Or alternatively, you can pay the blue coats off with a coin.
How
I think
much
we should
coin?
do
I
that.
was gonna say how much
1 coin.
1 coin?
Oh, let's
We should
just
do
spend
that.
the extra coin that we had. That would
Alright.
Yeah.
Or pull one
Say-
out of the vault.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a full vault, so might as well.
So it's the same difference. You pull one out of the vault, or you spend the extra one you got here. So throw the extra coin at them. The blue coats, whoever they grabbed, they let them go. There's no because on a 1 to a 3 is the person you grab spills their guts. A 4 to a 5, they don't say anything, but they get beat up. The 6 is they just manage to successfully navigate it. All right. So you burn the coin. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to downtime activities real quick. Let's start with Crow. Crow, you have 2 downtime activities. What are you like to do with them?
I am going to visit the roost.
You're going to visit the roost. Okay. So you go back to the roost. Return to the top of the tower. In this case, it is quieter than it was before. This isn't the whole gambit of everyone. In fact, Scurlock and Mariana both are not here. Who is here is Jay and Shrike. Owl, you're not sure if Owl's present. It's never, unless they make their presence known, it's hard to tell. Well, this is a surprise.
Hello. Not happy to see me?
I didn't say that. I just said it's a surprise. What brings a crow back to the nest?
Perhaps I am thinking falling from it was not such a great idea, but taking flight is not bad. You are all presently missing a piece of your puzzle, no? If we are working with you, it is best that that puzzle not be incomplete.
Shrike kind of puts a hand up to her face and just lets out a little giggle. We have missed you, Crow. You always brought the most interesting people around.
I have missed you too, Shrike.
Yeah. And delightful.
You are. I'm not even being facetious. I do genuinely enjoy all of your company. You too, Owl, if you're here.
I don't know.
We never do.
Never do. Anyway, falling, taking flight, leaving the nest all the same, Crow. So what's the point? What do you want?
I don't want anything. I'm letting you know that if your work ever requires help from someone you cannot reach, you still know someone who can.
Interesting. You're always welcome to come back, bro. I know Scurlock would be happy for it, and Mariana would see the use in it. But I don't know. You've become a little bit of an unknown factor. You changed a bit, Crow. Not necessarily for the bad ways, but you like learning all over again.
I have spent a bit of time away, and I have learned that what I was previously not prepared to do, I have already had to do. So. I have come to make an offer, that is all. You don't need to ask me for anything. We were friends once. I would like to be friends again.
If you ever get sick of peddling drugs, you're always welcome back here, bro. And if we want to maintain a good relationship, well, I'm sure we can work together.
And, you know, he always knows where to find me if he needs something.
Of course. Come back to visit anytime you like, Crow. I have some delightful new toys that I've got to play with.
I would love to see them. I'm going to attend to my other duties, but I will come visit, and you can come and visit me too, Shrike, if you like.
Of course. And you'll have to come back to my place. I've made a delightful new doll.
Oh? I would
Yes.
love to meet them.
She used to be such a pretty noble woman.
Ooh. Well, next time I am free, I will come and meet her.
Absolutely. Kudos. Okay. And what about you? Have a second downtime activity.
Yeah.
You have a variety of clocks to work on. Learning the mastery of Ashen Flame, the work of Arcane Artifice, and the art of demon killing.
I'm going to go and see Echo to begin my Art of Demon Killing clock.
Okay. So you go to meet Echo. And Echo, for your training, you don't get pulled to the coffee house. You get pulled to a graveyard on the edge of 6 towers, right by the lightning barrier. Welcome to your first day of training. We're going to start by teaching you a little trick, a little thing. It's going to be a long-term project for you. It's not so easy. But if you master it, you have a whole new tool at your arsenal. Because like ghosts, demons aren't particularly friends of lightning. Sometimes channeling it is the best weapon you have. And Echo literally sticks their hand in the lightning barrier, something that would kill almost anyone. And you watch as the lightning arcs not through their body, but around it, like a Faraday cage, up, across, down, and then out the other hand, and then crushes in a burst of lightning around them that explodes basically in a field, like a shock barrier that goes out. And as it washes over, for a moment, you can feel all of the hairs on your head standing from the static. We're going to start real small, though. You can see there's a little bit of lingering lightning around their fingers. This is going to hurt. And effectively spends like an hour tasering you over and over as you learn to kind of mitigate it and for taking lightning around and into your body. Give me an attune roll for how you do with the start of your training. Depending on how well you roll, depends on how far we progress the clock.
Cool. So, is it just regular risky standard?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. It's in this case the position matters less than the actual dice.
Cool.
There's no risk here. It's just a matter of how far you advance. A 5. All right. Give you 3 ticks in that one. And you learn a little bit about the power of lightning. The one thing demons can't touch. And you said you're not spending a coin?
No, that's all I need.
Great. Asher, you have 2 downtimes. How are you spending yours?
That first one, Asher is very frustrated by their inability to do shit today. They're kind of just disappointed in themselves more so. They're like, yeah, no, I shouldn't have let myself be rattled like that. So we're gonna go to a different doctor, our usual doctor, not the place full of doctors that we were just at. And
absolutely
see what healing can be done to me.
Absolutely. So let's give that a lovely roll on the old clock. Let me get that. Your doctor is a very effective doctor. He's very good at what he does.
I'm just rolling 1, right? Oh no.
I rolled it.
Perfect.
I rolled it. It's not fortune. I'm rolling it as a fortune off of your sheet, but technically he has skill in he has a skill in Tinker, and then he has the skill Physicer that he uses Tinker on people effectively to do healing. And that is a 6. So you get to fill in 3 clocks. So you heal 1 of your damages, and you put 2 more ticks in the clock for the other one. So get rid of either rattled or bruised.
Okay. Well, we'll get rid of the bruises now. I don't look so weird. I am going to... Yeah. So I'm going to use my second one to do a bit more healing and spend a little bit more time here to fix the rattled nature.
Okay. So let's give us that another roll, as long as it's at least... it's another 6. So that's enough. Because even a 5 or a 4 would have given you 2, which would have been enough. So you are fully healed.
Oh,
you have no more.
Thank goodness. And I am going to spend 1 coin to go... I'm going to go gambling. It's just kind of one of those we just need to blow off some steam at this point. It was one of those, like, there was not enough risk that happened for Asher in this. This was too under control. This was a little boring. Let's go raise the stakes a little bit and go to the gambling hall.
Indulge vice. I don't know how this was a little raising the stakes. You almost got caught trying to break into the financial office.
Yeah, what was really happening though? Nothing.
Okay, clear 6 stress.
I clear all of them.
All of it.
Exactly.
You have a great time gambling. You go to the high rolling tables, you're rolling it out, and as you're like rolling it out, you're like even like Helene pulls you to the high tables kind of a thing. She gets you working with some of the elites.
Right.
As you're in there, you're like, wait, I recognize that voice. Is that the doctor that was the accountant? I'm just gonna be like 3 tables over from him, just try to avoid him, and then go back to gambling. And like get in, No, you're feeling great. You're healed. You're stress-free.
Life is great.
Absolutely.
We're doing great.
And
we'll
then
get that safe the next time.
Get that next safe. Tristaro, you have no stress. You just have another quirk.
I'm sorry. I do have some ideas for that, but first of all, hearing the rumors going around and looking around, I think Tristaro is going to utilize that find cover identity and get into the Blue Coat's office and start getting rid of anything dealing with Murmur, the Murmur Venture Project, anyone they're connected to, and I'm going to reduce our heat.
You're going to reduce our heat. Abso-fucking-lutely. So do downtime, reduce heat. So we haven't done this yet. That's infiltration.
Yeah.
Tristaro. So that's going to be prowl.
Yep.
So give me a prowl roll to try to reduce the heat.
And rolling fortune. I'll take a 2.
Yeah. So the prowl rolled as a 2. So a 2 is you reduce your heat by 1. Which, fair enough. It's the same amount of heat you gained with this job. It's net 0. All right. And what about your other downtime?
All right. For my other downtime, Tristaro is feeling very much unstable and just goes to the Weeping Lady anyways. Goes to, and like sits in front of Lem's grave, where there is this. They look like forget-me-nots, but they forget-me-nots don't grow without sun. So these are a little bit more adapted where they kind of grow in candlelight and they store that energy and then pop and flourish in like a nice green-blue color. And that's been what they've been taking care of the entire time, every time they come to visit. And they are absolutely shattered and broken up, and they're crying right in front of the grave. And a set of footsteps walks up behind them and says, I imagine this woman, many people would not recognize her, but if someone saw her right next to her statue, she would be a spitting image of the Weeping Lady herself. And you don't hear anything coming from her mouth, but Tristaro just starts like talking about everything that's happened, about how he feels like it's all his fault. And I want to start a long-term project of healing one of my quirks through basically talking to the spirit.
Okay. So for removing your quirk, that is very similar almost to like it's more like a spiritual doctor kind of role.
Yeah.
That I would say is, yeah, I'd say do an indulge vice roll is what I'm gonna go with for that.
Okay.
Indulge vice roll, and depending on how you roll, will depend how many of these boxes I click in for healing a quirk.
All right.
A 5.
I'll
All
take
right.
a 5.
We'll click 3 boxes on healing your quirk.
Excellent, excellent.
And you are slowly working towards forgiving yourself in that way and trying to remove some of these haunted revelries and the effects that they've had on you as you are, for how badly you've been pushing yourself to get what you want, get an end. But at the way you're going, the only thing you're going to end up ending is yourself. And with that, we will call it a close.
I was going to spend a coin to get one
absolutely.
more downtime project down.
What would you like to do?
Listen, I know I did that therapy project and I'm trying to get rid of all, but hey, listen, these pyro distribution sites are not going to find themselves. I'm going to keep working on that.
Oh, give me a survey roll. Give me a survey roll and spend a coin.
I will say this. I do this because like I've been this kind of person before where like I will say I need to work on this, but also what if I just work on it a little bit longer?
All right. So you start working, you roll a 6. So you really hammer in on locating the pyro distribution centers. You're starting to get a good picture of the framework of their operation. You're getting there. You're not there yet, but you're getting there. Which will put us at 6 ticks and a 12-tick clock. Well done. And with that, now we will close the book on chapter 4 of Fire in the Dark. Thank you all, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to do a quick round table to mitigate all of our lovely rogues, starting with, let's start with Cole today.
Yeah. Hi there, my name is Cole, aka Ice Cold Brew. My pronouns are he, him, they, them, and I was playing Tristaro Valentine. And fortunately, not for the last time, maybe. You can find me again on Tuesday on this channel, on this podcast feed, playing Denari's Half Dozen, in which, things are getting really strange. And you can also find me on Mondays on my own channel at Ice Cold Brew and on social media. This week, I will be playing more Elden Ring. So, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. And Parker.
Hi, I'm Parker. I've been playing Asher this whole time and did not completely wreck myself, which I'm impressed by. You can normally find me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays over on my own Twitch channel, The Pixie Parker, where I'm playing dating sims. I'll be playing Arcade Spirits, the new challengers for the foreseeable future, possibly forever, because I just want to romance everyone. Is that different than this game? Not really at all. This is apparently just me as a person. I think I've got a couple other things in the works, but I don't remember any of them. Actually, mostly they're not settled yet. So follow me on Twitter at the Pixie Parker, and that'll be where I've got some other fun things happening. That's it.
Absolutely wonderful. And Rue had to step away, but Rue is a variety of things that I can't remember off the top. Rue, if you're still there, I would love to have you.
I got it. Let me turn on my mic.
Yep.
So,
our producer has the list.
Hi. So yes, Rue, first off, extremely fucking talented. Is a game designer, which I believe their link is in, yes, their itch.io link is in our cast call. They're also a cosplayer who will be competing in a couple things soon, and also a sensitivity reader for other game design projects. You can check out his Twitter for everything, and also is an emerging designer nominee for DJA. I don't remember what that acronym is for. Hugo nominated event planner, story sent, Big Bad Con grant recipient, Gen Con participation grant recipient, all the cool and amazing things that Rue is doing over on Twitter.
Yes. It just on Twitter, they are Ilana Knight 13. You can find them. There's a link in the chat. Check them out. They are phenomenal. Additionally, unable to join us tonight, but let's talk about John Downey, who plays Mort. John is a phenomenal creator. He is a regular over on the Outlaws Network, where he is a cast for Outlaws and Old Ones, and also in their D&D game that they run over there. So check out the Outlaws Network. He is also one half of Downtime with John and Emily, a podcast that he does with his sister Emily. So if you like goofy siblings talking about goofy things, and as your background, check out Downtime with John and Emily. John is a wonderful creator, wonderful person, and everything he does with full love in his heart. And we are missing Mort today and looking forward to having him back next time.
And I propose a challenge to anyone who goes and checks out Outlaws Network related things. Leave a review and give John our biggest congrats, since he also got married last week.
Yes. Congratulations to him on his wedding and all of that. So Outlaws, Old Ones, John Downey, the real John Downey on Twitter and across the internet. Beyond that, I have been your game master. I am Jaimie Wolfe. You can find me on Twitter as Jaimie Wolfe Art, or here on Twitch as Jaimie Wolfe. I am an art and variety streamer. I play a variety of video games. I do artwork. I will play Magic the Gathering. I obviously am here over on the Huntsman's Hydra, where I run this game, and will probably be showing at some point in the future in other various projects, depending on my time and scheduling and the like. And like, those are the things that I do. So check me out if you feel free. Either way, lovely to have your support here over on the Huntsman's Hydra for Fire in the Dark. And last but not least, we, as always, have to give a shout out to the most masterful and volatile mind in all of Doskval, AshenWorks, Wick, Brandon, our producer, the one and the only, the, let's just call him the fundamentally unstable creator behind it all. And the one who will, no doubt, whose voice you've heard at various times in various episodes, and who might show up himself to play a callback character to olden times, whose voice you've been hearing all this time. But until next time, have a good night, and see you next time, scoundrels.